Boom! What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. I'm taking prints, sorry. That is your boy Joey Dang Options, and I'm Sharif. And we're gonna wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream because YouTube always has to kill our vibe. No, of course, YouTube, don't ban me. Love you. Shout out to Tisha. Shout out to Darwin, Black Hawk, JP, Mateus Lane. Adara's in the chat. We got Gorev, Thomas, Sebastian, and Ryan. Stock Up and T-Money joining us as well. Shout out to the Baron and the Piper. Papa Bear says roar. Jeremy Newman in the house as well. Shout out to Ronaldo and Brandon Townsend. And it wouldn't be a Joseph, it wouldn't be a day without a proper dang paradox. We see you, brother. Darth Buddha. We got the Northwest Sasquatch. I always like that name. I almost like it as much as Big Asian. Big Asian still beats you out, but it's okay. Leonard Rodriguez, Stay Cozy, Dr. JD Voice. We got 95 GT. I like that. We got Seth. We got Jose Perez, Aldrin Giller, Fumago, Pillsbury, Felipe Lopez, Barry Ravel, Easy Peasy, Lemon Dang Squeezy. I see you in the chat. Dubs Dollars. We got Kirk D and Tiru. Who else? We got Tony Travel. We got Pax, Jose Perez. What else? Ralph Woodward. Shout out to my man Elon in the chat. Jerome Hatt. Zion Dang Lala. One of the OGs in the chat, definitely. Last but not least, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Dingleberg. What's up, my man? Dingleberg, how you been?
Hey, yeah, we've been good, man. Nice gym session yesterday. Some solid dinner.
Like that.
A good sleep. Started watching this. While I was reading about kind of the earnings reports and having everything on in the background. Started watching this Spanish version kind of Love Island. So for all my Love Island fans out there, yeah, I watched this cool new show. So yeah, that's it. What do you got going on this morning, man?
Joseph,
it's a hot one.
We're taking some prints here on my boy AMOD. I gotta tell you, so we're doing well on it so far, Joseph, but as I was complaining to you before we got on the show, liquidity is a bit of an issue here. There's been multiple spikes through my resting profit takers. Twice now, they haven't printed. Be careful. I'm using ARCA. Seems to be, you know, something maybe afoot with that gateway today. Joseph was having issues with it possibly on iBit. I'm having issues with it here on AMODA ARCA. Are you on ARCA, Katina Man? The Katina Man uses ARCA. It's the only one I ever use as well. I don't know what's going on, but there's been two spikes on AMOD. Neither of one have we've gotten printed on. So possible issue there. Let's get into the small caps I'm watching today before Joseph starts his lesson du jour. Here are the 6 that I'm watching, and I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you we're using new software up in this place, baby. It goes by the name eSignal, and this is the eSignal platform right here, looking fly as always. Joseph, we're looking at FOXX. This one looked awfully good above 9. It is now breaking down below the volume weighted average price. It's going to have to retrace above there before I get interested. TECX. This is a dang rocket ship right now, well above the volume weighted average price. A bit more pricey though. We're talking about 56, 57 bucks. So you got to ante up in order to get into this one. LTBR, Joseph, this is beautiful. LTBR is a thing of beauty right now. Higher highs, higher lows. Looks like a beautiful bull flag here, respecting the volume weighted average price. Good look. We'll keep that one on watch. BFLY. This one's taking out highs and then some, baby. Just taking out 4s now. High of the day, 417. Looks like it's on one. And then the Katina Men brought you this one before they ended the show. OKLO. Looking real good here as well. Really holding above that volume weighted average price, trying to take 40 bucks. A bit more of an expensive one like LTBR, or sorry, like which one? TECX. So you're going to have to ante up a little bit more in order to get into this one. Those are the 6 we're watching right now, Joseph.
Thank you. Sorry, I just got to send Andre a quick message here. Just 20 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's AMOD. We take several outs there into 440. We're long 06s, back down into 4 it goes. Here's the deal. This one is doing that curling effect. So what I've done is I've placed my stop below 350. Why 350? Well, that's the area trough. It didn't break 350 on the way down. If it breaks it, it makes a new low, then my trade isn't accurate, so I'll get the hell out. So what I'm doing right now, I'm looking to wet my beak through that high of the day break. I'd like to see 5 if possible. I'm trying not to take too much too quickly, but I'm pleased with the fact that I was able to de-risk into the high 30s, low 40s there. I will not move up my stop. My stop is going to stay in the same area. We're still not far away enough from that $3.50 area for me to say, oh, you move up your stop a little bit, trail it, lock in those profits. I don't think it's there yet, so we're going to keep an eye on that. I see you, Tisha. ACON keeps halting upside and has a reverse split. It's going on the side chart, Tisha. Thanks for calling that out, Joseph.
Thank you. So, yeah, guys, here we go. Been a wild day thus far. We're putting in some key signals here on the SPY, but guys, we got a lesson to get into, and that's going to be the options Greek today. So we've done it before, we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it live. So here we go. We're doing it live. So here we go, guys. Let's get into the Greeks. Yeah, they're Sharif and I am. What are these called? Togas or something? Right?
Yeah.
Togas. I like a good
toga party.
I like a good toga party. Yeah, exactly. So get it,
Sadira.
Get it. Everybody get it. So we need a thing for that. So here we go, guys. Animation. Here we go. So these are just all 5 of the Greeks that we're going to go through today. Delta, Gamma, Theta, Vega, and Rho. You often see me, some of the options traders and I always talking about Gamma and Theta, and definitely Vega. So sorry, Delta, Theta, and Vega. Those are 3 that I really focus on. So let's get right into it. All right. So the options Greek. In options trading, the Greeks are a set of calculations used to assess and manage the risks associated with the potential options positions. They are financial measures that represent the sensitivity of an options price to certain underlying variables. Each measure has a different impact on the options contract price, okay? So that's what we often talk about. Let's get into Delta. So here we go. This Greek measures the change in options price for every 1-point move in the underlying asset or the stock itself. Delta has a range of -100 to 0 for puts and 0 to +100 for calls. This can also be put into a fraction. You'll often see 0.9 or whatever it is, 0.8. That's just what it is. It is broken down to the 100th. Okay, so if the contract's delta is 0.8, as I just explained, this means the options price will change 80 cents using the options contract multiplier of 100, means $80 for every $1 move. If the options contract at $1, the delta of the delta of 0.8 and the underlying has a $1 move, the options contract will now be valued at $1.80. Okay, very simplistic. Not the most complicated math. It does get a little more complicated as you start to appreciate and price a little bit more. Things change because now you have to implement gamma. All right. So there we go. So let's take a look at the delta, and this is the metric that I always use when constructing credit spreads. I use this because it also can be classified as a percentage metric on if that options contract will expire in the money or out the money. Okay, so for example, if we have a delta of 0.5, which is clearly the at the money strike, which makes sense, we have about a 50%, a little bit over that, 50% chance of the options contract expiring in the money. All right, but we got to send it to Adara quick, and we'll be right back.
Keep an eye on American Airlines and Boeing here. We do have Donald Trump here, President of the United States, and the newly minted Transportation Secretary here, Sean Duffy, apparently set to hold a press conference on the plane crash in Washington, D.C. I'm watching the stream. Reporters are here, but it does not seem like Sean Duffy or President Trump have arrived yet. American Airlines, of course, was involved in this crash with a helicopter. Very, very upsetting incident. So keep an eye on AAPL here, pushing lower. Boeing, the reason to watch Boeing here is Sean Duffy has been especially critical of Boeing in the past. It's unclear if Boeing will be involved in this story or mentioned at all, but it's a name worth watching because Sean Duffy said he wants to exert tough love on Boeing if he is confirmed, which of course he was a couple days ago. So BA, AAPL on watch. If I hear anything of note, I'm letting you guys know. Back to the Bash Brothers.
All of a sudden,
we're eating good, man.
There's new food here. No, guys, we got a new caterer. And more pleased I could not be, bro. The quality of the food is next level. This is the salad. This is just for one side. You can't really see it perfectly there. There's 2 of these? That's insane. There's an insane amount of feta here, Katina, man. I'm all about that life.
I'll come back with the main, but there you go.
I love it.
It's funny because you're talking about Greeks.
Greeks. There we go. And there we go. We got the Greek there. So
Greek,
you're trying to
salad.
the correlation there. You know what I mean? The quinoa looks good, man. So
those sandwiches were amazing in the morning, by the way.
You can see the boys are eating good there, so
yeah.
Trenda
can't have anything.
Trenda can't have anything.
Punk.
Punk.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys, let's get right back into the lesson here. So we were just talking about delta and how it can also be utilized as a percentage metric on how that contract is going to expire, whether in the money or out the money. All right.
All right.
So there we go. So now let's get into gamma. Gamma provides you with the expected change in delta for every $1 change in the underlying asset. As it's at its greatest for at-the-money options, decreases after the option contract trades more in the money or out the money, all right? Gamma is always positive. People like to refer gamma as delta's delta, all right? So as delta starts to fluctuate, so does gamma, and you can be able to calculate that as well. Your options chain will calculate the gamma for you, so no need to do that. But as you increase in delta, you're gonna see the gamma start to increase as well too, guys, and change and fluctuate with the deltas as well. So, like theta, gamma increases as you approach expiration. So that's why you can get those really intense gamma squeezes. And when you're buying far out the money, that's essentially what you're kind of looking for at the end of the day, all right? So, example, the contract has a delta of 0.7 and a gamma of 0.2. With the underlying asset moving from $100 to 101, the adjusted delta would now be 0.9. Very simplistic stuff. Same with the delta. So that's why gamma, the Greek, can be classified as delta's delta. All right. So here we go. This is what we look at for the gamma. I don't pay overly too much attention to gamma. I'm more focused on implied volatility and delta for specific reasons. I mentioned before that using delta as a percentage metric on where that contract is going to expire. And then Vega can also help you determine how much you're actually going to be paying for those contracts. But most important, and for options traders in general, I should say, this is a key metric, and I think a lot of traders, especially when I first started, didn't really understand it or get the grasp of theta. It's like, okay, well, I'm in the money, so why isn't my contract worth anything? Well, chances are you're getting closer to expiration, and theta starts to pick up a little bit of steam, but we're going to get right into that right now. Theta is the Greek metric that represents time decay in contract values. If stock XYZ is $100 and its 105 call is $1 with a theta of 0.2, the options contract value will decrease by $20 every day. And that's just if that stands at that price. And the closer you get to expiration, it will increase. All right. So while theta works in favor of option sellers, theta works against options buyers. So that's why I always refer to individuals in the chat when we talk about buying contracts, you want to buy as much time as possible. All right. So here's theta. This will tell you how much that contract will diminish every single day, regardless of what happens, unless it starts to appreciate rapidly, all right? And then that's where you can get that extrinsic value, of the options contracts. So when you buy far out the money, what you're doing is you're just essentially buying time. There's nothing else there's no intrinsic value to those contracts. So when you buy far out the money, you have extrinsic value, it's only time value, but then when you get that rapid increase, that's why I only suggest buying out the money is when extreme amounts of volatility are gonna step in and you're looking for the price to appreciate or depreciate, whatever side you may be on. But this is where you need to pay attention, and then you get to keep that extrinsic value, and that's where you can get those outsized returns. You see options traders going like, 4,000%, 300%, 150%, 300%, 250%, as well as because time value can be calculated within those contracts as well too, guys. All right, so Vega, what do we at here? 16. All right, we're gonna go over implied volatility. We'll get back to it later on in the session. It's the second last Greek. We got Vega and then Rho. For the remainder of the lesson. Hopefully you guys learned something from that. If you have any questions in the chat, be sure to put them in there. I'll do my best to answer them the best I can and the fastest I can. But let's see what my guy Sharif is up to.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go. We're involved right now in your boy AMOD. It's the same, pardon me. Thank you, sorry about that. I'm still involved in AMOD. So multiple prints to the high side. This one is doing a curling effect. I kind of prefaced that whole conversation before Joseph started with his awesome lesson of the day. But here's what I'm looking at, guys. This is it, AMOD. It's showing you that lower, that basically they made lows there into about 3.5. And since that time, it's been higher low, higher low, higher low. I've complained to you guys about the liquidity or lack thereof on this name. It's wicked multiple times through resting orders that I've had. They've gone unfilled. That's been part of the story. I mean, at other times I've had no problem getting filled. So what I really like about this one is the curling effect. I'm looking for it to squeeze. I'm looking for a squeeze into around $5. It didn't technically hold VWAP, but what it did do was very respectful of price action, support, and resistance. Look at this area right here in the pre. We're above the pre-market high when we got into that 350 area, 346. Lo and behold, when we popped up into that 550 and then retraced, look where we held up. I'm like, that isn't by accident, okay? This is predictable stuff that you can do. It would have not been my style of trade to pick it up that level because it was below VWAP, but I'm showing you it's showing good strength today. I'm talking about AMOD. We'll see how this bad boy wants to trade on the day. Looking for a squeeze into that $5 area, layering my orders to account for that, as you can see over here. I'm also involved in another one, OKLO. This is at VWAP, much smaller size on this one because it's a bit more expensive, and it also didn't respect VWAP initially. Look at this double bottom over here that clearly breaches VWAP. That was in the more liquid time of the day, 9:55:10. It spiked down, it breached VWAP, it was quick to reclaim it. However, the point is, it's breached VWAP, so I need to be careful basing anything off VWAP because it's shown you I can break through it. So OKLO, much smaller size, trying for a VWAP hold, and then maybe a move back into 40. So definitely keeping an eye on that. I've got a dip trade set up on LTBR. All right, but I put it at 805. And the reason I put it at 805 on LTBR was to look for that $8 level. But this one looks like it's respecting the 10 exponential moving average. It's quite strong on the day. It's up 17% and change, almost 17.5%, 18%. So it looks like I may not get filled on that one. But guess what I am getting filled on? OKLO, guys, taking up the top there. Now I'm waiting at 40s. I do appreciate that, Katina, man. Now we're waiting over here at 42s. It's showing me 41s now on the ask. Let's go, bro. Why are you making me wait, man? Give me that cross. So OKLO holding the volume weighted average price. We're long 9s. Just took out some there in the mid 30s. Here come the low 40s. There go the low 40s. Now we're going to hold for that $40 move. So I'm putting my order at 39.88. Shout out to 88. I love that number. And then basically that's also an area of resistance. Look how many times we rejected 88. Once, twice, OB thrice. I can keep going, right? We did breach it on a quick wick basis here right into that $40.60 area. So I am hesitant about that $40 area, knowing that it had rejected previously in the day. So we're out of we're out of 2/3 of the position. I got 1/3 left here on OKLO. Let's see if it wants to take that $40 level out. I've put my stop exactly below this area over here. So the low on OKLO in this area trough, 38.72. I put it at 68s, okay? So I'm giving it 4 pennies below this area low. That's my move on OKLO. Now, back to AMOD, because that's the one that we've still got some decent shareage over here. We're going to look the next level at 48. And the reason I have it at 48 is kind of a random number to basically get in front of that $half level. With these small cap gappers that are especially cheaper in price, they use $quarter, $half, whole dollars, $0.75 as areas of psychological support and resistance. So I'd like to take it out before I hit that brick wall at the 50 penny level. Here we go. A seller at 30s right now on AMOD. Decent size there, about 1,000 lots, maybe a little bit more at that 30 penny level. And as I see it, we have taken that level out previously. That's how I was able to get wicked in there at 40s. The thing about AMOD though, I don't know if it's easy to borrow shorts or what the situation is. I looked at my broker over here. There is no shorts available for sale. But every time we pop into a bit of a higher high, we're met with aggressive selling on almost every pop. And you can see that easily by looking at the topping tail candles on AMOD. Topping tail candles means that you're not able to close at the high of that candle. Well, why is that? Because somebody's shorting it. Somebody's pushing it down every time it pops up. So you're going to have to deal with that. Okay? And that's kind of an annoying part of it. It's not directional. It's not, giving you that directional move. You're going to have to zig and then zag. But if you're able to decipher what it's doing vis-a-vis the higher lows, it kind of keeps you a bit more confident in the trade. So that's my look right now. We're in AMOD. I've got a dip trade set up on LTBR that has not got filled yet. It's waiting at 805s. I no longer think it's accurate, that LTBR dip trade at 805, which is this bad boy over here. The only reason I had it there was to front run the size at psychological support at $8. But this one looks like it's respecting the 10 exponential moving average, given that it wicked off the 10 and then bounced right back up. So that's my move right now, Joseph. I'm also keeping my eye on Convict music, and you know we up front. No, I'm
right,
sorry, bro.
Guy,
I had to do the whole thing there, bro.
You go to karaoke often or what?
I know, bro. I suck.
Do you go to
karaoke?
No,
but you know what, dude?
Yeah.
I live very close to Little Korea.
Okay,
Little Korea is Young and Finch, right? So I'm not that far away from there.
There's honestly a karaoke bar, and like every other shop is a karaoke.
Everyone there, but they love karaoke.
They love
there,
it, man.
Joseph.
Yeah, you don't want
what it is.
You don't want me getting a hold of the mic, that's for sure.
So, no, to answer your question, I don't go to karaoke. But I'm looking at Acon right here, guys. ACON. That's why I was singing. I do apologize. Let's maximize this bad boy. This is halted to the downside now twice. Shout out to Tisha. She brought this one to my attention. But as I told you, Tisha, we're still above the 10 exponential. We're still above VWAP. So even though we have 2 down halts on this monster, up 54%, I'm still interested in it, Tisha. I want to see, does it hold that 10 exponential initially? And then if it doesn't, does it hold the volume weighted average price? I'm looking at the side chart over here. Looks to be at around $13. I'm talking about Acon. Shout out. I will stop with Acon points. Get it, Adara. All right, Joseph, what do you got, my man?
Yeah, Seth in the chat's asked me multiple times to take a look at Nike. It's been trading well, they say, on the session. So we'll do just that for you, my guy. Yeah, I mean, here we go. We know we kind of know the narrative with Nike here. I'm not too sure when they report or if they already, I don't think they already have. But I guess it's tough, man. That this athleisure wear is really tough game, especially with Nike kind of switching up the business plan, starting their own brick and mortar and opening up their own shops. Sharif likes it. Me, I just think there's some other alternatives, and they're going to need a lot to do to rebrand this name.
I like the clothing.
You like the clothing?
I don't really like the stock, though.
You can't really like the stock, right? If we were to zoom out from a daily perspective, I mean, are you buying these lows? We had these marked out before, you know what I mean? So we need to like tighten up those inventories and do a lot here. They need to touch the user base a little bit more and the consumer. They need to get on the socials, start working on some marketing. No, I don't hate Nike at all. Like I used to, all my hockey gear used to be Nike when it was Nike Bauer back in the day. I thought that was the coolest combination there. And I liked all their stuff too. I still have their hats and everything along those lines. But as just for the athleisure wear, there's cheaper alternatives that are just as cool in my opinion, like Gymshark. Like who doesn't wear Gymshark these days, you know what I mean? So that's just where I'm getting at with that. We got to wait for this report. So a solid quarter from Nike may be warranted here, but let's see. Only time will tell. But as of today, it's looking really good here, Seth. Tesla in the chat. Everybody's going on about that right now. So we're going to pull it up.
Joseph.
It's flying now. We're going to pull it up right now. Sharif, heading towards VWAP, sitting on top of it. On the 5-minute. Let's see if we can start to roll here. We know that they missed on both the top and bottom line here, and it seems to be that the margins are slightly dwindling due to the reduction in costs and multiple vehicles. So we gotta see what's going on with Tesla. I mean, this energy storage thing is really starting to pick up steam for them as well too. So keep that in mind, guys. I still like Tesla. Obviously, Elon's extremely optimistic there. I should say optimistic, right? See, right. So, but I mean, you got optimist there. So, hey, you didn't see where I was going with that one. But yeah, but here we go, guys. With Tesla. 2026, 2027, he's predicting astronomical numbers. And I was thinking to myself too, if he's going to sell this RoboCab for $30K, and I guess if that's 26, 27, then it probably won't be here north of the border till 28, maybe even 29 with all the regulations that we have. But I mean, I was thinking, if I can hop in my car, type in on the GPS, bring me to Trader TV Live and just sit back and relax, then I'm going to be doing, yeah, exactly. So I'm going to be doing that. And I think it will be massively and quickly adopted as soon as those regulations come into
Joseph, can we talk about the productivity gains that people will probably have once FSD, like full self-driving? You'll be able to work in the car, emails, everything. Like there's nothing that you practically can't do in the car that you'll be prohibited from doing once the car is driving for you. How much lost productivity do we have in this province or in this city because of the fantastic traffic system that we have,
2D
right?
system.
It's hideous. And I'm kidding, obviously, when I say fantastic. Guys, okay, AMOD. Something's going on with the liquidity here, man, because there is another wick through 2 of my orders that went unprinted. But it's still going to keep me in the trade because look at these higher lows. And now we're zooming in on that 40 penny area. I'm going to have to probably deal with pullbacks on this because the range per candle is quite wide. But I'm waiting at 48s and then I'm waiting at 55s, 65s. Here we go. Let's go, bro. Come on, you've got higher lows. Squeeze. I don't know what's going on with this one, why it's so aggressive. Really happy with this OKLO trade. We took almost $1 quick as you like on OKLO. In at 39, out at 39.88. Very happy with this trade. It's already done. It was strictly a VWAP hold and then a bounce back up. I'm talking about OKLO. Comes into that 38 and $0.75 area and then rockets up above 40. I didn't even get the top wick there. This one went up to 40.20. Great strength right now on OKLO. We're going to have to see if we can weasel back into this one. LTBR giving me nothing over here because that 805 level is absolutely not valid anymore. We're going to hit the escape button, get rid of that order, but I'm very interested in getting into LTBR. Uh-oh, he's already in the chat. Shout out to Big Spile Burdette, thanks for the $2 super chat, brother. Shut up. More productive hours for the overlords. Yes. No, Big Spile, for real though, brother. Like, think about it. I don't know what the traffic's down, what it's like in Pennsylvania or wherever in the area of Pennsylvania that you live. But in Toronto, it's hideous. In most of Ontario, it's quite hideous because of the system that we have here and lack of public transportation, yada, yada, yada. I won't bore you with that. But I want to reclaim that time, man. I want to reclaim that time in the car to be productive, to do other things. I think a lot of people probably want to do the same thing. So that would definitely help things in that regard. Boom. We took out some orders over here through the $0.50, through that into 58s. Now I've got, I think, how many outs do I have left here on AMOD? I got a couple of more. So one, we're waiting at mid-60s, and then the other one, the last piece, after we get this print over here, is going to be a piece for the dream. We're going to wait for that $5 break and take on AMOD before I take out that last piece. 2 outs left on this one. It's a beautiful look, guys. It's a rounded bottom. It's giving you all the indicators you need to see. The higher lows, these mean something. Higher lows mean something. That means buyer exuberance, buyer aggression, whatever you want to call it. Basically out-dueling the sell orders to the high side. So we're zigging and zagging right now with that $0.50 despite wicking above it. I like this trade. Let's see what comes. Acon. All right, Acon halted to the upside this time, and I had a feeling that that would be the case. A beautiful hold by Acon of the volume weighted average price. It goes from the halt level previously of 14.25, drops down to 12 2/3, ends up halting to the upside at 14.79. That is where we're halted right now. 14.79, halted at 11.28 and 30 something. So we'll be looking to open up at 11.33 if it is a 5-minute hold. Good look right now, Katina, man. Here we go. Boom on AMOD. We take out the top there. Now we're holding one more. We're going to be holding this one above 5. I promise you that. 200% here, Joseph. This one's squeezing.
Hey, good luck there. We have some good questions in the chat. Ryan Hamlin, I'm waiting to straddle Apple for earnings. 4 to 5% move being priced in based on the chain. Is it best to wait until closer to the end of day to jump in? Yeah, because you want to get that at the money, right? You want to get as close to at the money as you can. So right at 350 or 355, open up that position. Obviously, you set your stop losses as well, too, even though you can't execute them, just in case at market open you don't like what you see. As for Apple, are we going to get that 4 to 5% expected move? I'm going to look on the chain. I'm going to pull up my options AI to check the expected move, Ryan Hamlin, and get back to you on that. But it seems like you know what you're doing there. You say you got the options chain pulled up, and you see a lot of move for a 4 to 5% move. What I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to pull up the chain. I'm going to see where the most open interest is because we only have one. I'll go with the January 31st, one DTE. So 260, from what I'm seeing right now, has the most open interest. So on these contracts with the 92% at the money IV. So you're going to be paying for the heightened premium just due to the implied volatility there. But let's see what we got going on the put side. So 230, a lot of OI there, and then 220 as well too, guys. So you got to keep an eye out on that. The put side definitely more expensive as usual, but that is okay. But yeah, again, 255, 260, possible targets there on Apple, but then to the downside, we have 225 and 230. Keep an eye out for those levels, guys. Let's see what Adara's up to.
Just be aware here of Alibaba. I am seeing, apparently this came out about 15 minutes ago, but basically just be aware, Alibaba's really strong here on the day, nice little rounded bottom. Basically releasing apparently the pricing for its Quen 2.5 Max API model. And in case you missed it, this was that model that they had said outperformed DeepSeek, I think in every benchmark here, and outperformed ChatGPT in some benchmarks as well. Regardless, this model is 90% cheaper than OpenAI's O1. So just be aware, I'm just seeing this circulating around here. Apparently, Alibaba's AI is 90% cheaper than OpenAI O1. So just be aware here of BABA, guys. Back to you.
Really interesting, man. I think this cost thing is going to be super important. Thanks for that, Adara. Great call out there. Guys, what's his name? Who's that in the chat? Scalp Hunter. Shout out to you, my man. Good look here. ARM on the daily. He's telling me, look, brother, gap fill here, because look what we did. We gapped down quite aggressively from that 162.5 close on the 24th, and then all blood right there on that 148 open the next day. That's ugly. Do we fill the gap? We've done this before. We've done lessons on common gaps. What we know about common gaps is they fill relatively quickly. This could be one of them, Scalp Hunter. We're trading at the day high right now with ARM. We're at 153 and change. To fill the gap, though, quite frankly, we got to weasel on up, I want to say, to above that $162 area, right? So I don't know if we fill the gap entirely today. I don't think it's got that much strength. It's up 3 3/4, but I could see this definitely filling. If we continue on our merry way. We got a higher low still. Don't forget about that. We hit the 200 not that long ago to end off the year on ARM. We were, where'd we go? We got down into that 125 area. So we hung out at the 200 exponential moving average on the daily for a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So about a week. And then we had a big boy green day. Look at that day on the 3rd, which was the second trading day of the year. It was a big boy move. So I think we're putting in higher lows. We may not necessarily rocket up into that 182 high that we put in on the 22nd, but I do like our odds of gap filling. Maybe not today, but I like your call and I like your thinking. Now, this chart right here, the one that you guys are looking at, this excludes pre-market action, pre-market and aftermarket. If you want to analyze gaps correctly, you're going to have to exclude all the price action before 9:30 and all the price action subsequent to 4. If you include aftermarket and pre-market action, you're not going to get a full, clear picture of the gaps on the daily. I want to put that out to you guys. So for me, it's super easy to do. I weasel on in, and all I say is here, show data outside regular trading hours. I'm sure you guys have a platform that does the same thing. Let me know how it goes. Shout out to Scalp Hunter, Joseph.
Shout out to Scalp Hunter. Havana Woody has a good question in the chat. Odyssey Flights, I'll get to you as well. Loving the Q&A today, guys. Ryan Hamlin, anytime, my friend. So Havana Woody says, Joe, in an old video, Roaring Kitty said that when looking for options, he looked for leaps with the Vega of 20. Can you elaborate on what that might mean and why it is important? Yeah, so I'll tell you what, it may not be the right answer, probably multiple answers to this, because I don't know what's inside Roaring Kitty's head, but what I would be thinking is that he's buying the leaps looking for cheaper contracts, right? So he wants to be able to pay as little premium on that as he possibly can. The lower the volatility, right, that means the options market's not increasing the premiums of those contracts. So that's maybe what he was looking for. Again, I don't know what's inside this guy's head. If I did, I would have been probably 100. I would have 100 million easily in the bank, and I didn't even partake in any of that GME craze there, guys. Yeah, this guy, we got the tracks going today. They're popping up in the head. So
Wayne.
That's what I think he means by that, Havana Woody. West, y'all, what is the cleanest website to view the options chain? I messaged you about that. Ryan Hamlin, once again, you are very welcome. So hopefully that helped you with that, Havana Woody. But let's pull up some NVDA. Everybody wants to talk about NVDA. I see that you want to talk some options contracts with this thing. I wouldn't be buying them right now just because the increase in volatility, especially after the past couple of days. So you know you're going to be paying an extended premium, and then you need that average true range of the underlying asset to maintain where it's at right now. But it's probably most likely going to dwindle. So just be patient. Look at the chart here. As you can see from a daily perspective, guys, we might run into some key levels. Sharif was telling me that it's running into the 200 SMA, I believe he was referring to. At this point, this is what you got to use as a potential stop, this 115.96, in my opinion. I know I tried to swing at it 127, but then I got out at 122. Didn't work for me. There can be some more potential downside with this thing, especially because we know with DeepSeek that they did it for X amount of dollars. So does that mean everybody needs as much chips as they're currently buying? I don't know. That may be a big reason on why NVIDIA's stock price has been battered the past couple of sessions. But here we are, 115.96 or 116, we'll call it. If it breaks those lows, you got to get out of Dodge, replan that thesis, and wait for this thing to turn around. As soon as some news comes out, like, okay, DeepSeek was hiding something or anything positive for the American side, then that's when you look to get involved here on NVDA, and price will tell you when to get involved in this thing.
Okay. A new view. I feel your pain with AMOD. I was suffering from the same affliction of going unprinted. We've only got one more out left. And here's the deal, a new view. I've moved up my stop to below 4. So I'm not going to let this one go against me. I'm probably going to get stopped out for the last out right now. I've got one ambitious out over here for a 505 break. But this one looks like it might be topping out, at least for the moment, at my out over here at around 469. It's going to have to hold 4. Otherwise, I want no smoke with this one unless it sets up again. And I don't mind taking it as a breakout trade above 4 3/4 if it sets up in that way. So we've got one more out here on AMOD. I've moved up my stop from 350, which was this area trough over here. I've now moved it up to just a little bit below the whole dollar. Don't want to give too much back. I don't want to give like 50 pennies back on one out. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I know you. I feel you, Unuview. He's like, I wanted it past 460. So did I. As you can see, I've got this resting order waiting above 5, but it's going unfilled. So that's a deal. Scalp Hunter. Yep. Look, brother, you know, there's a lot of stuff that floats around about different traders online. They're doing this. They're taking from their students. They're doing both sides of the trade. Hard to know what's really happening. You can just basically try and learn the skills. You don't actually have to trade what they were trading. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Shout out to you. Joseph Birch. I also learned from him the whole situation where he got sued was misunderstanding. I don't think he meant for it to go that way. Yeah, I agree with you. And now he's like very aggressive in the disclaimers that he puts on the website and stuff like that. Completely understand, you know, not everybody is going to like that kind of trading, and not everybody's going to like that kind of person, quite frankly. So that's the situation there. Guys, Acon is a dang rocket ship right now. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. I don't like trading these ones that halt to no end, but it's, as I've mentioned before, even the ones that halt to no end are respectful of the trend. I mean, if I can show you guys the side chart for a quick second over here, this is respecting the moving averages, and it's respecting VWAP. Look where the halt level was. It dips into that white line. You guys know that white line is VWAP on my chart, and then rockets up. And then even over here, it respects a 10 exponential moving average. So even though it's having trouble staying open and obviously having trouble doing volume, as a result, it is following the trend. But please be careful with the ones that halt a lot, because you could get the end of the trade where it starts tanking and giving back everything. And you don't want to be that person. So make sure you're exercising sound risk management by using the appropriate size and using stop losses. And for goodness sake, please make sure you are using sound stop losses. And by sound stop losses, I'm saying ones that will actually trigger when you need them. And if you don't have the ones that will trigger, well, what's the purpose of them? So what I'm talking about here is illiquidity. So if you have your stop, let's say here on Acon, below VWAP, let's just say 1250. And I put a 1250 stop loss, and I gave the trigger price, I entered the trigger price of 1250, and I put a limit price of 1240. That means it'll fill anywhere, the stop that is, between 1250 and 1240. But how about if there's an area of illiquidity where all the bids or all the orders there are filled by a different order? And so you end up dropping from 50 into like 30 somethings. Unless it pops back up to fill you, if it doesn't, it continues to go down, your stop's just going to be, hey, hello. It's not going to fill. So make sure you're using sound risk management, whether you're using market orders, which I don't recommend, or using a wider spread between your trigger price and your limit price. If you don't, your stop may go unfilled. The human algo is at the big desk.
We're going to take a look here at some of these earnings names. We could look at Tesla, we could look at Microsoft, we could look at Meta, but we've heard about them. So I wanted to look at some earnings names that have got really beaten up today and go through these reports because they deserve some love, or if not love, at least acknowledgement as well. So let's talk about UPS. We did talk a little bit about UPS. Congrats to Sean for being involved in that trade. Basically, this report was actually not, we say there's no such thing as good or bad earnings, but they did beat here sizably on earnings per share, $2.75 versus $2.53 expected. Sales about $25.3 billion, however, a little bit below estimates of $25.419 billion. Now, as was mentioned earlier, what seems to be the biggest miss of this report is just the fact that they're basically going to be having some strategic actions, including looking to reduce volume with its largest customer by 50% by late 2026. So it's going to be about a year and a half until we get that reduction. But that is of note. They also said they're going to be reconfiguring its U.S. network in order to save about $1 billion. So cost-saving metrics here in effect for UPS. Now, what about ServiceNow? We're going to take a look here at ServiceNow as well, because now it may not be Microsoft, Meta, but I think it's still worth noting because it's so beaten up here. We went from closing around $11.40 yesterday, so that is $1,140. We're below the 1,000 level right now for NOW. So why did that occur? They had inline earnings per share. They missed on sales, and they said they're in the early days of AI. So I guess they're trying to get a little bit into AI here. Did not help the stock regardless, down about 13% for NOW. And with this ticker, I also think it's worth noting here the analyst actions have been really mixed. We had some analysts raising their price targets, others lowering, and others maintaining. And before we send you back to the Bash Brothers, I want to highlight our new Trader TV Live earnings board, which did debut earlier this week. Tonight, we're going to get US Steel, X, we're going to get DECK, Decker, we're going to get Visa, we're going to get Intel, INTC, and we're going to get Apple. And you're going to get those with myself and Sean. Check that out at 4 p.m. on the Market Recap Show. On Friday morning, we have a couple decent names as well. AbbVie, Colgate-Palmolive, Chevron, Charter, and ExxonMobil. So make sure to check that out. And we will have a new board ready for tomorrow to show what earnings are going to happen next week. So stay tuned. XTTV Research. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara.
Visa and MasterCard, they don't run a monopoly, do they?
Yeah, it's a bit. It's kind of. I don't know. I don't know how you'd
Own the stock.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But yeah, guys, here we go. What happened to it? Oh.
What happened? You want me to take over?
Lost the Mizike, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, here's Acon, guys, halted to the downside again. 761 pop there. Now we're halted at 1440. Yeah, you gotta be careful with this one. Now, showing me the theoretical auction price, Joseph, at 14, halted at 1440. I'm still interested in it, believe it or not, because the volume weighted average price is at 14. So technically, it's still defending that VWAP area. So I'm still going to be interested in this one. I'm going to be if I trade it. Underline that. If it's going to be with much smaller size, I got to manage risk. Rohit Sharma, just 1 second. One question, I'll throw it back to you. Rohit Sharma, how do you tell if a trade will hold VWAP or not? Any indicators or confirmation signals you use? Would love your thoughts. That's a great question, brother. What I do is I don't want to play the guessing game. If there is an obvious area of support below VWAP, I'll put my stop below that. So usually sometimes, a stock will breach VWAP momentarily, then reclaim it right away. So if I get in after that reclaim of VWAP, what I'll do is I'll put my stop below the area trough, below the area low. So the reason I do that is because if it makes a newer low, that's two newer lows, and that's not the trend I'm looking for. I'm looking for higher lows, not lower lows. So if and only if, in that situation, I'll tell you that. Otherwise, you're going to have to look at the book. You're going to have to look and see where the bids are stacked. Is there a buyer buying up at that level that that could backstop the price if it continues to flush? You also need to look at the resistance on top of VWAP, because if it's stacked resistance and you haven't been able to take it out, well, then there's a good chance of VWAP failing. So multiple things you can do to try to put the odds on your side, but that's all you're doing, Rohit. You're trying to put the odds on your side. There's really no hard and fast way to get anything certain 100% in this business. At least that's been my experience, Joseph.
Yeah, good answer there, my friend. Just understanding what's going on at that certain time. Have you been trading above or below it for the majority of the session? Lots of metrics that you can use to implement on that. But guys, here we go. A lot of people are talking about Alibaba here. What a monstrous run it went on here, Sharif. Throughout the whole drive, it essentially hasn't looked back. You got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaths throughout the whole session. But here we go, as high as 102.50, 102.65. Alibaba and company starting to trade higher. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily perspective here, folks. Wow, really starting to recover after this pivot, man. What a monster short signal that is here, guys. We talk about these isolated pivots, the indecision candles at extreme highs and lows, and this one is name of the books here. It'll say, okay, so if I seen this without the rest of the data, like, okay, this is a short at the break of this 111. As soon as we break the high, thesis invalid, but then you get that additional print, which allows you to get right back into the trade and then sell it to the short side. So, these things are tough, man. I mean, they gap up, gap down day after day. But here we go. That volatility is really starting to pick in. A lot more liquid these days, it seems to be the case. But again, average true range expanding, but really nice trading here from Alibaba and company. So I know a lot of you guys have been looking at that. And yes, Nike, Seth, is still continuing to the top side. Good look there, my guys. But here we go in some TQs. Off the bottoming signal here, broke the low. I was like, okay, that should be enough. Somewhat of an isolated signature. So gave it some time. At the break of that, we decided to hop in. 81.50s. Boom, there it is. We're at 81.77 and continuing to trade towards the volume-weighted average price. Let's see if we can break through and momentum can continue to the top side. Let's see what Apple's up to on the session. Haven't really looked at it. We got earnings this evening, trading around $238 right now, but has been holding under VWAP. So maybe some weak sentiment in that underlying asset. Be aware of Apple. I know someone in the chat mentioned Ryan Phillips said he has a straddle potentially that he wants to open on that. So good luck there. Hopefully you exceed that move, because that's exactly what we need for you to be profitable. Whether it be 4 or 5%, you need that expected move to be breached and then to continue to the top or the downside. So one contract can vastly outweigh the other. That is the name of the straddle game. All right, guys. So Joe, please have Tesla break pre-market high. Thank you in advance, bro. Top VIP. I wish I could do that for you, but I am short some IBIT as well too. We had that ascending wedge. Looking extremely bearish on this thing, unfortunately. I thought we were going to maybe go and test those all-time highs. Trading as high as probably about 106,000 on IBIT, so not too bad. Good recovery. Traded it this morning as well too. Beautiful moves, but as you can see here, guys, on that 5-minute time frame, not looking too good. If we break 59.99, we'll call it 60 flat, then there's going to be definitely some more downside on this thing, and we're going to look to participate in that short. Do I have some short calls on it in my portfolio? I don't know, maybe, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, man. But we got those. We have some breaking out levels. If you see my notes, I'll pull up for you guys. I had two main ideas on the morning. It was Tesla and IBIT. All right, but what happened in Tesla's pre-market? I didn't like it. We were continuing to ascend, but we didn't get that pullback through the volume-weighted average price and have that ability to get that elastic effect that I like to implement on VWAP. It didn't come, and sure enough, it just decided to tank. But let's see what we got going on here. And here we go, guys. So number one and number two ideas right there, guys. So I was ready to get Tesla going, but then IBIT was trading nice, push size, let's go. Lots because we may be genuine large move, wait for the setup, and sure enough, it did set up. So that's what we have on IBIT and Tesla theses this morning.
Joseph, I'm looking right now at Fox, FOXX. Now, this is a bit of a breach of my rules. I'm not going to be in it quite yet. Let me take something off here, because we'll take off Acon for a sec. The reason I'm talking about Fox right now is because it's curling into VWAP. So it had a fantastic hold at $7. That $7 area, you can't see it on my charts, but that was a 20 exponential. It was hugging the 20 exponential. Now it's above the 10, it's above the 20. It's only facing now that $9 whole dollar level and the volume weighted average price, which are almost at the same area. I mean, VWAP on my chart is 9 and change, and the whole dollar level is obviously at 9. So this is going to have to clear VWAP for me to get interested on it. But it's a hell of a recovery off 7, now touching 9. Not a trade that I would typically take, but there was, I perceived there to be a reason why it held up at 7. Have a look at this area right here. Well, what is that? That's 10 a.m. That's a 10 a.m. pop. It halted there. So that was the halt level. And as I've said before, I look at these halt levels as intraday areas of support and resistance. I wouldn't use them out of the intraday look. I wouldn't use them on the daily or weekly or anything like that. But they do happen to be sometimes good areas to pick stuff off intraday. And this was a case in point. Pops up into that 718, goes all the way up almost to 11 bucks, comes right back down into 7, holds it, and now we're knocking on the door of 9. So obviously you didn't have that $7 trade. That's fine. I am now looking at it again for a break above VWAP. If it breaks and holds above VWAP, I'm talking about FOXX. Certainly interested in that. Look at your boy over here, AMOD. So this one pushed me out for the last remaining amount because it breached that volume weighted average price. But look at it. It's still putting in higher lows. So I think I'm going to get back in here. Because if I get back in here and I place it at the area low, like 388, 385, well, I'm only risking 25 pennies to almost make $1 and change. This thing feels like it's going to squeeze. At least that's how I kind of see it right now. So AMOD, I'm really thinking about getting back into that one. Let's weasel on over to AMOD. There's a look. This is the 5-minute chart, obviously. Let's flip to the 1. A little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for here? It looks messy on the 1, a lot cleaner on the 5, Katina, man, a lot easier to digest. But the point is, it's holding for generally and putting in higher lows. AMOD, it's a big boy winner on the day. I want to say between AMOD and Fox, those are the two leading gappers on the day, 183, 185%, and then the other one's 165. So very interested in this one to work myself back into this one over here. I'm going to give this one some time to possibly either break VWAP to the downside or weasel its way back up. Almog, great analysis, sir. It is a new, is it a new software or is it trade idea software dark mode? No, my man. Thank you for bringing up that. This over here is eSignal, one of our sponsors. A hell of a platform, man. A hell of a platform. I'm just scratching the surface with eSignal right now. Obviously, because, they're our sponsor, I was able to get an account and more pleased I could not be. This has got everything and then some. I mean, you got scanners, watch lists, you got options, you got every different indicator under the dang sun is available on this one. And what I especially like about it, anchored VWAP. It's got anchored VWAP, something that I don't have on my platform. The only way to do it, Katina, man, is to do it vis-a-vis an API. And who does that? I don't know how to program. I don't know what I'm doing. So this one's done all the homework for me. eSignal is a fantastic platform. Going to be exploring this a lot more. Shout out to Almog.
Did you find out if it actually has the options chain on it yet, or?
No.
Oh, no?
I didn't find out.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to, but yeah, it's probably like that. Because if it did, man, that would be sick, because then we can pull it up on here and construct things for people in the chat. Because someone in the chat just asked me, said, Joe, how do you construct a straddle? That's simple. So you pull up your options chain, find the at-the-money call and put, and then you buy both of them. That's it. That's the straddle. That's the at-the-money straddle right there. I can't bring it up for you, but that's it. You go to the at-the-money, you'll see it displayed on your options chain, and then you buy the call and you buy the put, same strike price. That is the at-the-money, so keep that in mind. If you want to offset it, then that's the straddle there, guys. Strangle, sorry. So yeah, guys, let's see what we got going on. We got a little bit of a good one here in the TQs. I think that IBIT's going to break down, so we're going to hold on to that one. Unfortunately, I was hoping that we went a little bit higher, but that's okay. But here we go, guys, in some TQQ. Market's starting to recover here. So what is this, the 2X? So we're only up about 0.5% on the session. In here, on that same signal, just slowly starting to piece things out. Let's see if we can hold the volume-weighted average price. If I see any mass indecision above this, then we can possibly continue to the sell side and put in that second leg to the downside. But as of right now, Apple's starting to climb back, Tesla hovering above the volume-weighted average price. Let's see what Meta is up to.
Sorry, I have to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Big news here, guys. Department of Justice suing to stop HPE's $14 billion deal to buy Juniper Networks. Juniper Networks just tanked. It is halted to the downside. JNPR, 36.60 is the high of the day. It's halted at 34.34. Shout out to Sebastian. You brought that to my attention. That is the news, Sebastian. Department of Justice sues to stop HPE's $14 billion acquisition to buy JNPR. It's halted to the, oh, well, I think it's open. No, it's still halted to the downside, guys. Sorry to interrupt you, Joseph. Just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention.
Go. Yeah. No problem, brother. That's a good news headline. Anytime breaking news comes out, just feel free to, obviously. Yeah. No, don't apologize. Here we are, guys, though. Continuing to climb higher. Let's see what Apple's up to. I was about to pull up Meta here and see what we got going on from an intraday perspective. And starting to climb towards the volume-weighted average price as well, too. I was looking at for a possible short, even though I'm not going to trade this, a little too expensive for my liking. And here we go. That break of 60.8735 to the south side and now slowly recovering. Let's see if we can punch through VWAP with some momentum. Their earnings report was essentially fantastic. We know that... what is it, Digital Labs or something? What is it called? Reality Labs. Reality Labs is still kind of operating at a net loss there with the, whatever they're called, the Meta glasses and the Orions. Yeah, so, but other than that, everything seems to be pretty good with this company. We know that from a capital expenditure standpoint, around that 60 to 65 billion, he's still looking to spend on AI and et cetera, Llama, whatever it may be. But here we are with Meta, a great company, something that I'm waiting to split. I don't know at what price they're going to split at, and they've never split. So you can definitely get more hands involved in this thing. If we decide to do a 10-to-1 or whatever it may be, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, even just cut the price in half, and maybe more retail can look to get involved. I know Adara likes to trade this stock as well too, but guys, these big names are slowly starting to climb back, and here goes the TQs. We're in that one. Bitcoin's still hovering around those ends, but again, let's see if we can recover on this market. This could be a massive liquidity grab, and then we go in and push for some highs. We know Meta's at all-time highs. Let's see what the rest of the boys are up to.
That was ridiculous yesterday, man. You noticed Meta was supposed to report at 5 after?
I was watching you guys. Neil gave me a shout out. Yeah, I didn't have my my login here. He's like, yo, shout out 905 JDW, and I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Nice. Joseph, yeah. Meta made us wait, and like we were about to go off the air, and then Meta reported like, oh, good. 440 there. They dropped their earnings at, and look, guys, it was there was not much wrong with that report. The only thing I think was the forward guide for revenue that was a little light, but everything else was just fantastic. I mean, Zuck, it's in Zuck's nature to double down. He doesn't flip flop, right? Like generally, maybe a little bit here and there, but most of the time he's a pretty stubborn guy. And so he's sticking with that 60 to 65 billion in CapEx, mostly obviously on data center AI. We saw that news with AVGO, Broadcom. They're up 6 1/3. NVIDIA down 2.5, likely because Meta, one of the hyperscalers, going to be buying up a storm. But this time it's not going to be these H100s or the B100 or the Blackwell, whatever, the GB200 or whatever they're calling it. It might be some of these AVGO GPUs and advanced AI chips. So Huck Tan and his boys over there at Broadcom getting a bit of a bump today. They're back above $1 trillion. They had lost that $1 trillion market cap when everything was tanking in chip world. After DeepSeek, obviously, that was the Monday trade. So that's the look right there. So Meta, fantastic look. And they have what's a 3.5 billion 3.5 billion people percentage of 8 billion? I'm not good at math. What percentage is that?
Oh man,
that's
you got me
half.
beat. That's almost half. You're looking at like 40%.
40 some odd percent, right?
40 something plus.
He's got 40 some odd percent of the world, Joseph, using his every day.
There you go. So there you go.
42%.
Yeah, so
Thank you, Neil.
So there's
what's that?
42%.
Yeah, give or take, guys. You know, we're right around there.
And so. I think it was either Neil or Sean who mentioned, it's like, yeah, what if this guy gets into the phone space? You know what I mean? Like, what if this guy constructs a phone? Like, he already has everybody using his app. What if all these? It would be smart because we all know the West Coast, like California, is like probably the epicenter of social media. So what if you get all these people in California starting to buy your phone in New York and all these massive social media places? And I think people would move to that, especially if they come out with some sick features better than the iPhone or something.
So I think he's made that very clear. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to rely on Apple. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to rely on Google. He doesn't like the restrictions that they put on his software. Mm-hmm. Every time he comes up with something novel, Apple's like, no, can't do that. We don't like it. You're not putting that in the App Store. Yeah. So he's always been annoyed by that. So he wants to have a self-sustaining platform. So your point, very well taken. The other side of that, though, I'd say it'd be Tesla. Well, not Tesla, Starlink would have cell phone service before Meta. We know that that's what they're doing with their satellites. They want that satellite to cell phone direct. I think that's a huge disruptor for telecom that are spending up the yin-yang to put up these 5G towers everywhere. Look at like American Tower. They're a REIT, right? They own land that they put towers on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that becomes obsolete or not as important as it was before. It's not something that happens overnight.
That's a valid point.
It's not something that happens overnight, Joseph, but definitely something to keep your eye on. Starlink, obviously not a publicly traded company, but if you want to weasel into there and SpaceX, Starlink, all that kind of stuff, DXYZ, one of those ones. You can also look at other ETFs that are available out there that have private market exposure to SpaceX and Starlink. I know I'm a buyer of that company in the long term, no matter what, if it goes IPO, whatever he decides to do with that, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Acon. This thing is rocketing to the high side, man. New high a day on Acon, $19 now, zigging and zagging. This thing is moving 50 pennies at a time, though. So please be careful with this one. And I always feel a little bit responsible when I call these out, because I don't want you guys punching into this, be like, I'm going to make my millions. It's all over. Everything's fantastic, right? So it's trading very, very erratically. If you don't trade these ones that halt all that much, I'd say stay away from it. But right now, it is respecting the trend, despite the fact that it's zigging and zagging. It's putting in those higher highs and higher lows. $19 HOD, up 92%. Adair is at the big desk. Then we got Neil's lesson of the day.
Prop firm match. Are you a skilled trader who's lacking capital? Prop firms offer you the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, which allows you to showcase your skills, access account sizes from 5K to 500K, and you can start with as little as 20 bucks. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. Scan the QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. We're going to take a look here at what this market's been doing, because it's been up, down, and all around. This was one of the candles near open here. We spike as high as above 525, then we plummet here as low as 518. Currently on the NASDAQ, hanging out around 523. So very rangy, tumultuous journey here for the market. Then the S&P 500 having basically the same look. They're both up roughly the same amount in the day. And the story actually started today with economic numbers. We did have slightly lower than expected GDP, but the biggest story is going to continue to be earnings. We do have some earnings here going on with Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla last night. Then Apple tonight. Check that out with Sean and myself on the market recap. Juniper was also on watch here. This drop, and keep in mind, this one dropped yesterday. This was never really explained. This drop here, though, we did have the confirmation, or I guess the reporting here, that the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is suing to block HPE, Hewlett-Packard, from acquiring JNPR for $14 billion. So JNPR on watch. And then we have our Mag 7 earnings ticker. So this is Meta, kind of trending to the upside here. Microsoft as well. Initially falling, trying to hold on a little bit, potentially around this 416 level. And TSLA, the final of our Mag 7 earnings tickers from today, rejecting that area just above 400. So very mixed picture. We're going to have to wait and see what this market gives us. But for now, I know what we're going to give you guys. It's going to be Neil. It's going to be his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
We got a special lesson of the day here, everybody, because we've been shooting some videos, and there'll be more on that, I think, coming up, and we'll let you guys know what we've been doing in the middle of the day, every single day. Sean and I are shooting some videos, Sharif as well. Brendan's been shooting some stuff. But there was something I was talking about that is going to be the point of the lesson, and often you'll see me mention focus. Now, I like to think of myself as an athlete. At least I was when I was younger. And you always have to be in the moment when you're an athlete. Like, it's like you focus on the shot, focus on the race. And in trading, it's sort of the same thing. But I want to give you an idea of why it's going to matter. I'll give you the easy one, then I'll give you the fun one that you wouldn't have noticed on the show. So there's a point where I was only trading Meta today, right? So Meta was strong. Meta was at all-time highs. Meta was doing all sorts of things. Meta pulled into VWAP. It seemed like continuation type trade, and every single time, like, it was, let's get into VWAP, buyers come into O2s, it's scalping the range, holding for the bigger move. All that kind of stuff looked really good. But what was going on here at the 704 level, so it's going 2 to 4 pretty decently over and over again. I had one stop out, it jumped right back in because I liked it. Look at that bottoming tail candle. I got a strong stock. Like, you gotta like that bottoming tail candle. Like, it's gonna be good again. But then there was a moment, and it was right in here at this 10 to 1024, like this 3-minute candle, where when you're watching the tape, and you would have heard me say this, it doesn't feel right. And I'm like, I'm getting out. And then Sean was like, oh, it still looks good. It's holding those highs. I go, it's just different. Market's breaking the low. It's different. The selling's different. It's hard to quantify a lot of times. But if you're sitting there and you're staring at only the tape of that stock in that moment to make your next decision, sometimes it looks weak. The buyers are not holding up when it gets up there. And it's not always obvious with a topping tail candle like that, but it looks weak. And you get a bad feeling about it. The next thing it did is drop into VWAP, maybe trap some more people long, and then absolutely rinse. Now, even if I hold it, do I reload it VWAP? Maybe I scalp it again. Am I ever not going to have a stop out here? No. Could it have been an abject disaster? Probably not. But I think in that case, like, being focused is going to matter. But if that's a situation where it matters a little, I'm going to show you one that matters a lot. And I'm going to come over to Broadcom for a quick little second. Took a breakout, didn't work. Took a dip buy, did work. At that point, we're flat on the stock. I actually got wicked out. While I was shooting stuff, I actually got wicked out there. But this trade in here is the one that you're not going to notice. So when we talk about being focused, focus is taking a VWAP break back out trade, getting into, well, effectively max BP with a keystroke error, and then remaining calm. Because in the moment when I got that position, it's like being dropped into a battlefield. I don't get emotional about stuff. I don't yell. It's just in my personality. But part of it is when I'm in situations like this to realize, and this is a 3-minute chart, I've got maybe a couple of seconds before the algos realize how screwed I am. And that's about it. So in that moment, like anything else, I'm taking whatever they can give me before they screw me. And then on top of that, the other thing you'll hear me do is, before I get into a long, I already have a stop out. So if I know what my strategy is, remember, I always have a defined strategy. Like this one here, I'm going long on this break. I didn't get everything, so I added on that dip. My stop instantly goes in underneath that prior bar, right? So I know I'm going to be saved. Same situation here. My stop was already in at that prior bar. So yes, I got out of over 95% of the trade. Otherwise, I'd probably be shut down. But I acted quickly. And I already had a stop in to protect me. Because A, if I don't react with calm, I'm probably getting the whole thing out here and screwed. If I don't have a stop order out and follow my plan and just sort of wing it, then I could get the whole thing out down here, and then you're giving up like a month or something like that. But it all comes down to a few things. If you have a plan of action, an execution strategy, a reason to get in, where you get out, and all of it defined, then you're going to be protected in situations like that. I've made keystroke errors and fat fingers, over the years a few times. But what I can tell you is, after the very first time I got into one of those, I was calm every single time after that, because you realize the only thing for you to do is make the next decision. You're going from decision to decision as a trader, and whether you just keystroked into a max BP or have a small position, you make every decision count. I'm not the biggest Mamba fan out there. I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT, and I've never really been too much of a Kobe Bryant guy. I've always liked Magic as the best Laker of all time. But the one thing, and I have nothing against Allen Iverson with what I'm about to say here, the one thing that everyone would say about Kobe or Michael is practice like you will play. Because at the end of the day, you get those reps in, and then when you end up in a tight spot, you are not going to have any trouble sort of rising to that pressure moment. And I'm only saying this to you guys because I'm not the only person who's made a keystroke error. I've seen keystroke errors end traders' careers. I've been a risk manager who had to, who was there having to let go a trader who made a keystroke error they could not recover from. It's going to happen to almost everybody, but if you have the proper plan in place, maybe you've got your stop order ready. You understand the liquidity by reading the tape so you know how to react in the moment. All you can do is make the best decision possible in that moment. If you're in a bad spot, all you can do is maybe you can just cover the wound, right? Like you can do the best you can in that situation, but you've got to be calm about it. And the bigger the moment, the more you want to rely on your skills and be able to hone them in there. So I'll be the first person to tell you, if I don't execute that trade within 1.5 seconds, I am losing multiple months. But it didn't happen today. And the only reason it didn't happen is because I was able to remain calm. Everybody has to be their own trader. And you've got to be able to stick to your own plan, and you've got to have a plan in place to be able to do that. So unlike Allen Iverson, I think practice matters, everybody, because you're going to build the discipline that you need to be able to handle the situations the market's going to be able to give you. You never know when that moment is going to come, when it's going to be you're all in because you love it, you're all in because you didn't mean it. But if you're ready for it, then that means you have put in that practice and you have remained level and you did follow your execution plan. That is your lesson of the day, and I bet you can't even tell when it happened either, guys.
Neil, all I just got to say right now is that was hot fire, but people are wondering what's going on in the chat. Where are the glasses? They're like, who is this guy? We're going back to Neil. It can't be him doing it without the glass. There he is. There's my man. Okay.
So basically, we're shooting some stuff. I was talking about it, and I always I put these on because whatever. It's better on the eyes. They're definitely better looking at the screens. So when I'm not on the show, I'm generally wearing these, but I can't wear this when I'm shooting the video, so I took them off.
Yeah, fair.
And I plumb forgot to put them back on. The other thing I wanted to point, I actually forgot to do this because I was going to show I was going to show the salad. I have a beef with this salad, by the way. You can't, I don't know if you can see this. It's hard to see, but I haven't had it yet, but it looks like there's pesto in the chicken.
Whoa, big pesto guy here, though.
Oh, you like pesto?
I love pesto.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, to each
Joseph likes
No,
pesto.
I don't dislike pesto. I just tend to think that almost everybody that puts pesto uses twice as much pesto as necessary.
Oh yeah.
So and that's my biggest beef. If I'm using pesto, I'm gonna put a little bit in there, and I like the hint of it, and everybody always overdoes it, and then I end up not liking it. So I'm like a little bit. I think it's a little bit sus, but we'll see. The glasses thing, it had nothing to do with me meaning business. As a matter of fact, I just forgot to put them back on. I think it's important, obviously, if you sit in front of screens. I'm not saying everyone should go out and get blue light glasses, but you're sitting in front of screens all day long, then it definitely helps you out. I was getting headaches.
Nobody asked.
And my eye doctor was like, well, what do? I explained what I did. They're like, you look at screens all day long? Yeah, and I got these lights because I'm doing a show in front of me as well. He's like, have you tried putting some glasses on? I'm like, no. He's like, well, maybe you should do that. So I bought a pair off Amazon for $20, and I don't get the headaches anymore. And these are literally cheap from Amazon. They work.
Well,
yeah,
matters.
I'm not getting expensive stuff I don't have to, bro.
Exactly.
I'm cheap like a mofo.
I'll buy everything off Temu if I could.
No.
Shout out to P.
That's
Diddy.
crazy.
No, I'm kidding. But I will buy stuff off
You
Temu.
will buy. I've never
I just
bought
want to
anything
put my credit
off
card
those.
information on there. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Bro, what do you mean? They already have your credit card information. You got the talk and DeepSeek, my guy. So they know everything about you.
I got TikTok. I got everything.
And the
Oh my God. And by the way, when I said nobody asked you, I wasn't talking to Neil. I was talking to Rammer.
Yeah, Ram.
I just want to make that very clear.
We got a good question here from Officially Unburdened, your guy here, Sharif. Joe, sup, dude? Hey, for Theta, can you explain the curve and how it kicks in more and more over time? Helpful for selling, hopeful for selling, helpful for selling, hurtful for buying. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. So as you start to reach expiration, that's where the value of the contracts start to kick in. Theta of the value of the contracts really starts to kick in, and that's where it starts to diminish. Why? Because essentially you only have the rights. That's the name of the game, right? So when you're trading options, it's like, okay, you don't own those shares essentially, you just have the rights to them, but those rights have a limited lifespan. That's why with each options contract, there's expiration cycles. And within that expiration cycle is theta, it's extrinsic value. And as you get closer to the expiration of it, that time decay really, really kicks in. And then that's why I refer to, if you're buying contracts, it's worth buying the time unless you have pinpoint accuracy with those entries, all right? Because each day that goes by and your thesis isn't playing out, you're essentially losing money, even if the underlying asset stays at whatever price or doesn't fluctuate that much, moves a little to the top side, moves a little to the downside. You just need to be accurate and you need the price to move quick. That's why I say when you are buying contracts, buy the time, right? And I'll emphasize it more. If you're going for certain strategies, like I was referring to buying out the money, it's like, okay, we're just looking for that quick spike in volatility in an earnings play to appreciate that, collect a little bit of extrinsic value. When you're buying the 500 calls on Tesla, you don't expect to gain any intrinsic value because that's a hefty move on Tesla. But what you're looking to do is buy that time value, all right? So that's just the number one thing. All contracts have expiration. You are buying the rights to something. You don't actually own that underlying asset. And with that comes a contract, okay? It's like your insurance contract. Every year you need to renew it, et cetera. It's the same thing with options. Every week, every day, every week, things expire. And that's where Theta comes into play. It is that key metric. So hopefully that will... exactly, it didn't work. That Tesla call didn't work officially, so hopefully that helped you a little bit. We got a $2 super chat. Woo! Here, yeah, just that's it. It's $2 super chat, Sharif. There's nothing. I don't know where it went now. It's gone now. So.
Yourself.
Yeah, it's T-Man, 99 cents. T-Man, 99 cents. Just the donation. Thanks, T-Man. Appreciate you, B-Man. But now he's sending another $5 super chat there. Does anyone think the DeepSeek info was planted after they shirts NVIDIA? I'm not too sure what that means, but I mean, the market has awfully...
Shorted, probably.
Oh, shorted. And,
okay, what's his name? The guy that was short Netflix that made a lot... What's his name? Goodness gracious, come on, he's tall. All right, well, that narrows it down. Give me a second over here. I have him on my X. He's always tweeting. Anyway, it'll come to me in a second. He was basically saying, because you know how the guy that runs DeepSeek also has a hedge fund.
Yeah,
a quant,
right?
Quantitative
fund, right?
So he's saying that this could have been one of those setups where he releases it, takes monster short-dated puts.
That's crazy.
And then levers up like a you-know-what and makes a killing, billions probably, right? Because you could distribute that over different assets, right? Guys, FOXX is really breaking out now, guys. This one was below the volume weighted average price. It is now tradable under my system. It is breaching that $9 area where VWAP is. Just popped into 10, $11 to the T is the high of the day. So we're going to be looking at this one now. I'm involved right now in LTBR, about 10 pennies in the money, taking this one off the volume weighted average price. Sadly, it didn't get filled at 805, despite the fact it did wick into my level. So we'll look. I'll look to add into this, or it's going to dip into my my level again. What the hell is his name, dude?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, this is killing me.
But that's what I was just referring to. That's where buying. Like, so if this guy decided to buy a bunch of out-the-money puts, he just collected a heap of extrinsic value, and then the price depreciates. So it's just like that's where those gains start to become astronomical.
Well, it's exactly it too, and it was like he didn't have to do it for that long because we had a big correction in a short day.
Yeah, boom, you're out.
Yeah, short-dated calls, Joseph. Are the premiums on short-dated calls lower or higher?
They'll be lower.
They'll be lower.
Yeah.
So then you're more margins then, right? So that's a look there. If I remember his name. I don't know why it's dodging me now. He's obviously very popular. He's the guy that had that huge short on Netflix, and then he lost a lot of money. Bill Ackman, thank you. Gary Fabian.
All right, there we go.
Aki went to X. Yeah, and he was like, look, man, they could have made a killing on this if they took short-dated puts. And so there's that possibility, Joseph. I mean...
I heard some people saying an American senator he's going to be working with Donald actually said that it could be possibly also a plant by the Chinese, by the CPP, right? Like And that's the one thing. The market's timing always seems to be a little convenient for certain things, right?
Well said,
Oh,
Joseph. Yeah.
TikTok's ban. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see here. Now we're gonna just implement DeepSeek here and essentially get the same information and make the American economy go crazy. So, but one thing, yeah, but I think
You're
it's
right,
true,
bro.
right?
You're
Yeah.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
just like everything is just so the timing is obviously convenient. But here we go. $5 super chat. Justin Mainhart. We talking about practice? Oh, tell him, Neil. Cheers, practice. About practice. He can't even go. Neil, he's too concentrated. We're talking about practice. But yeah, in all reality, that's maybe what it was. Timing all too convenient there, guys, with DeepSeek. And it's going to be interesting. I don't think the story's dead just yet.
Absolutely not, Joseph. All right, so let's see FOXX zigging and zagging right now. I'm in this one at 10.10. It's dropping down to 9 2/3. Anything below 9, we're done this trade. It's going to have to hold up VWAP. That's why I'm saying 9. It's not a random area that I'm looking at basically getting out because it's dropping. $9 is the volume weighted average price. I got into the trade because of 9. I'll get out to the trade because of 9. So right back up into 9 3/4 goes FOXX, but we're going to throw in that stop right now. So we're going to go like that, and then we're going to have to give it all the way down to here. And then let's see what kind of shareage that we got over here. Yeah, good. Good look so far. So let's see if this one wants to back up. Right back into 10 it goes. We're long 10.10 at the moment. So let's see what this one wants to do. I'm waiting at the lofty price for a fill at 10.68. Now, what I'm worried about is the double top. So there's obvious selling at $11. You have a triple top at $11. The initial spike over here, this was what time? 10:22. You had another attempt at $11 at 10:38. And we just had a third attempt at $11, again rejected. Back into 10 it goes, but it's not really forthcoming with the break of 10. Showing me 80s right now, 90s. All right, can we continue to move up? There it is. Let's see, but now we got selling in front of 10 now, so we got to be careful with this one. Let's wet our beak over here for some profits to de-risk possibly. I'll throw out some orders up here as well. Let's see if we can get a quick wick into those areas to get a nice little fill so far. Defending 10 for the moment. Don't know exactly how this one ends up going, but we're going to give it the old college try. So let's see what this one does. We're zigging and zagging here at 14s, mid-teens. They're selling, boom, into the third of a dollar. Let's see if this one wants to continue above the third of a dollar. So it's showing me 30s, and there it is. Now we take that out. Let's see if it squeezes again into the half dollar right now. So de-risking, 40 showing up, boom, up into 50s again. Now selling at 50. Still haven't gotten that print north of 50. So we'll send it to Adair in a second, but just waiting to see if we can get filled. Big seller at 50. It looks like the same size that was hanging out at 11. All right, Adair, what do you got?
I have more Uber and Lyft related news as it regards Waymo. Waymo announcing here on social media that they're beginning their first fully autonomous miles being driven for Waymo employees in Atlanta. So it doesn't seem like it's widely available yet. Just employees apparently self-driving in Atlanta. But keep an eye on UBER, which did get a couple interesting wicks here on this 3-minute chart and a little bit of volume in it as well. So UBER, LYFT, we know that any Waymo announcements often have a little bit of a negative effect on especially Uber, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, so we just took some out there in the mid-10s. So we're long 956 because we have that 950 at, so that's the deal. It's going to have to hold 950, otherwise I'm gone. We've been able to de-risk on it, but I want to see if this one pops up. Let's take out 11. I don't want to take out everything in front of 11. That ain't the move. I think I'm going to cancel one of my orders at the top there. Let's see which one. Yeah, so it took out the top order. That's good. Let's see if we can get that 50 level print. We rejected off 50 several times. We have a higher low candle right now. The previous candle on the 5 goes all the way down into about 9 1/4. The current candle's low right there is like 9.90, so essentially $10. So higher low, not a bad look, but I'm still quite concerned about the triple top at $11 and the selling that I saw last time at 10.50. Let's see if this one pops up. Very volatile name. Now this is the #1 gapper on the day, up 250%. We were talking about TECX, Joseph. We were talking about Acon. We also talked about AMOD. Those are all triple-digit winners. This one joining the club, and it was already a triple-digit winner, but it had dropped below VWAP all the way into that 750, so it wasn't tradable under our system. Now it is. Let's see if it holds 950. Otherwise, I'm gone. Joseph Wilson, what do you got?
Joseph W. or D.
Hey.
Damn, that's what they call me. It's J-Dubs,
I like that.
man. J-Dubs, JDW, yeah. That's it.
Where the money at? Na-na-na-na-na. Who remembers that? Who's that? Clingy?
Who is that?
Who's that?
Clingy? You mean Chingy?
Chingy.
Clingy. Oh my days. How's it? Yeah. Kyle Burdett. 1 month, and I better read what you say first before I read it out loud.
Yeah.
One earnings.
It's a liability,
the
bro.
Same, split on Tesla. Yeah, exactly. 1 month and 1 earnings, and we are still at the same split on Tesla. That's how you know you're a pure liability, Kyle, because we have to read what you say first, and we're like, oh, okay, all right, we don't want to read it out loud. But yeah, man, I was thinking about you when those reports came out last night. I'm like, oh, this guy is gonna get that target before we run. But then sure enough, price turned around, and I'm like, kind of essentially laughing at you too. I thought we were gonna get closer to that 500. But here we go, guys. Market really starting to pull back in here. I said be wary of any indecision above the volume weighted average price. And what did we get here, Sharif?
Yes, sir.
Indecision candles right above the volume weighted average price. Look at this, forming a lower high there, guys. Really nice signal to short off of. We talk about these signals on a day-to-day basis, where to pinpoint them, where to look for them, and there they are. The more saddle time, the more you'll be able to identify these signals here. You want to see it? Or you see it there? All right, there we go.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. That's what we got going on. Market really starting to pull back in here now, guys. Starbucks breaking through some key support levels. IBIT looking to break a little bit lower as well too. Frustrating, but that's okay. We'll survive that one. Tesla just hovering above the volume weighted average price. A lot of this is like, hey, the earnings report wasn't that best. The best margins are starting to dwindle. Especially because of the price cuts. But here we go. It started to trade higher after the market. Holding these levels, still somewhat trading in this range. Look at this. So after the market there, guys, look at that. Holding that level almost to a T, 413.59, and then rejecting it to the downside, running into some key support levels. Look at these. That's why I think Neil and Sean are really outstanding at picking out some of these levels.
Oh, yeah.
And trading off of them. And here you go, guys. A pre-market low or an intraday low here, and then multiple bounces on them. Let's see what happens around VWAP. If we decide that we want to break 396.02, there could be potentially some more downside, my guy.
All right, Joseph, we're long. LTBR right at the volume weighted average. This is a feel-good fill right here.
Jeez.
This is what I call a feel-good fill.
FGF, baby.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good one right there. I appreciate that. Dare likes it too. 805, guys, we're long. We're printing 37s right now on the ask. This was a VWAP dip and hold. Only reason I got into that. Shout out to Big Spile. I'll get to this trade in a second. I did not jump on the 200 break out on Google for long term, like I mentioned. I really think we could get a nice dip to go in on it before we rally and go. Yeah, good point, brother. I mean, I was looking at Google today when the market was tanking. It was moving up with Meta. So I felt that there was a bit of relative strength on there on Google. Not really sure what that's about, but yeah, good point. So here's the trade right now on LTBR. There's the initial entry at 17s, and then look, the reason I got in here is because I got a little FOMO. Yesterday I said I don't get any FOMO, but this was awfully close to VWAP. And I said, look, if it doesn't hit VWAP, I don't want it to go without me. So let me get in a little piece here. This was at 13s, excuse me. Then I added the majority of the size at 5s, and it rocketed up, baby. So now we took a couple of prints. The initial print at 36, the second one at 31. Now I'm waiting again in the 30s and then the 40s. Decent position size on this one. Looking for it to take out the high of the day. I'm talking about LTBR, and LTBR's high of the day, Joseph, is 846. We're showing 42s now. Oh, baby. Here we go. Boom. There's the fill. We'll take that out. Thank you, Adara. Boom. It's squeezing, man. There it is through 860. Now we're going to set up at 74s. To take out that level there. So, I took everything out.
No.
I should calm the hell down.
Yeah,
right?
We're getting antsy and excited.
Yeah, I got so excited, I took everything out, man.
Excited.
Anyway, 870. We got 860 so far. High of the day, 870, so I don't feel too bad. Good trade so far. Let's clean up our stops now on this monster so that we don't mess up by getting short, because this one is free for shorts, guys. So the reason I was able to tell I took everything out, look at that. So like when I come to sell, there's my short, right? My purple indicator, that will always be a short. right? The red will be sells for longs. The aquas right there are longs. And so that's how I was able to tell it was a free for short type situation. LTBR, really good look. Let's go back to Fox because I got stopped out of the remaining amount break even. We took a nice scalp on it, a $1 winner there off 950 to 1050. But Fox is breaking down now below the volume weighted average price. That ain't for me, baby. What are you laughing at, bro? J Daddy. What is J Daddy?
J Daddy.
And he's Canadian too. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I love it.
You want to read that? Go.
Yeah,
for it.
I'll read it. Shout out to Trick. Appreciate the J Daddy for sure. You guys are great. Please explain how Delta changes in correlation with the stock price, etc. The stock price tanked and the long call now becomes out the money. Sure, we'll do that right now because that's exactly what we were talking about in the Greeks. So just for you, J Daddy, we're going back in time here to see what we got going on with Delta, all right? So I'm gonna read the question one more time. Explain how Delta changes in correlation with the stock price. Here we go. So this Greek measures, here, let me make it full screen. This is the exact answer that you're going to be looking for. So this Greek measures the change in options price for every 1 point move in the underlying asset or the stock itself, all right? Delta has a range of -100 to 0 for puts and 0 to +100 for calls. If the contract's delta is 0.8, now pay attention here, Trick, this is really important. If the contract's delta is 0.8, this means the options price will change, the contract price will change 80 cents. Using the options contract multiplier of 100 means $80 for every $1 move. If the options contract is valued at $1 with a delta of 80 cents and the underlying asset has a move of $1, the options contract will now be valued at $1.80 or $180, okay? So I'll give you another example. If we were to buy a Tesla contract and the delta was 0.5, and then Tesla went from, we'll use an example of 398 to 399, that contract will now change its value. So it was valued at $2. We had a delta of 0.5. It is now worth a $2.50, okay? From that underlying asset going from $398 to $399, all right? So when the options contract for every 1 point move, that's what the delta will fluctuate on that contract. But let's see what Adara is up to. And I hope that answered your question, my friend.
There's another element to this Uber Waymo story. So usually what happens here is we get a story about Waymo innovating and Uber and Lyft drop. However, I mean, there was some extra volume, but Uber didn't really do that. So it turns out there's a little bit more to this. It's that Waymo apparently, when they have their public rides in Atlanta, which is what they just announced, they will be available exclusively through Uber. So now Waymo and Uber, which have been partnered in the past year, now apparently their partnership in Atlanta will be exclusively with Uber. So if you want to order a Waymo ride, you got to do so through UBER, guys. Let's take a look at Lyft on that news as well, because that could be a bit of a negative for LYFT. Not really much of a reaction there for Lyft, a little bit less volume, but UBER, an exclusive partner of Waymo in Atlanta. Back to you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Joseph and I talking off camera about Microsoft. Microsoft's rolling out DeepSeek's AI model on its Azure cloud platform. If that isn't a kind of an informal endorsement of the legitimacy of DeepSeek, I don't know what is. But Joseph bringing up a really good point. They're rolling out DeepSeek on Azure, and Altman and Nadella are taking selfies together on X. I don't know what the hell is going on, but Microsoft looks like they're hedging their bets. They got Copilot. They got Mustafa Suleiman, who apparently has a temper. Get it, Tara. Azara's the one that told me that, by the way. She did a deep dive on our boy Suleiman. And, you know, it looked like they're really hedging their bets over there at Microsoft. Got shellacked today, down 6%. Dang, Microsoft still bleeding right now. I wanted to get to Gregory Osborne's question.
Absolutely.
Non-related to trading, Joseph, but a good one. Sharif was hoping you could wax philosophical about the pros and cons of buying a condo versus a house. Want a condo, but worried about HOA fees, homeowners association fees, plus property tax could be just as much as renting. That's a great question, brother. I've got or what we call them condo fees, same thing, up the yin yang at my condo because it's, you know, that's just the way it is at that condo. And it's something that I really dislike because you don't get any equity in that HOA fee that you pay. Now, not direct equity. You're getting equity, obviously, because they're maintaining the property. I personally want a house. I was brought up in Canada where most people grew up in houses. Not everybody. Most people grew up with backyards. And so that's kind of the dream that I've wanted to always, continue. It's getting harder and harder because houses are super expensive now. It's becoming kind of like New York.
Yeah.
Where if you got a house
years ago.
You did say that to me before. Yeah. If you got a house, you're like in the top echelon of society. I personally like houses better. Now, that's just my preference. With respect to the condo market versus the housing market, at least in Toronto, condo markets right now are depressed. There's huge amounts of assignments. Assignments are when the buyer buys a pre-construction, can't close because of the stress test, either rates have gone up or whatever, so they got to assign it to somebody else who can afford. That kind of thing has shot up in Toronto. That's had the effect of bringing down condo prices for the shoebox condos I'm talking about, not the big ones. All the while, houses are getting more expensive. So if you're asking from an investment perspective, my man, I always see the house as the best option. You get the piece of land, yada, 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 and obviously I like it better. Obviously, you're going to have to pay more likely in maintenance and stuff like that and have to do everything yourself. Joseph, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I mean, I owned a condo. I sold it 2 summers ago. My friend and I, we just did it as an investment. We were young. We were probably about 28, 29 years old when we no, I was younger than that. I was 26, 27, sorry, when I bought it. I think we got so we got a good deal from that. Same kind of metric as Sharif here. The housing is ideal, but it all depends what you're looking for. I don't know if you work in the city or anything, so you can look at it as a fact. If you're looking to buy something outside of the city and then you got to commute into the city, right? You're giving up your time, and unfortunately we can't buy any more of that. So if you want to buy something, then within the city here, you have to downsize and accept the fact that, hey, maybe you're going to live in the condo market. But one thing is the maintenance fees are really tough, and then there's no cap on them. So they can be continued to be raised and raised year after year, which is usually rough around 5 to 10%.
And as the building gets older, the fees go up.
And then that's where you can get a special assessment as well too. So if you need like large work done and they don't have enough money in the reserve, well then you're gonna get slapped with a bill. All the owners in that condo are gonna get slapped with a bill, whatever it may be. I know it happened to my grandma, but they had something in their clause where they got that money back. But some people don't have those things. Yeah. So some people don't have those things. So just be wary if you're young and you're looking to get into the condo market. Buying on assignment isn't horrible. Sometimes the projects do get delayed, right? But then you can get the appreciation with that asset. But just mind you, you're sizing down. You're not getting as bang for your buck if you were to buy something from like a house maybe outside of the city.
I agree wholeheartedly with everything you just said there, dude. Kyle Burdett, have you considered purchasing property in the USA? I have a really good deal for you. I can't tell if you're being funny or you actually got a good deal. Dude, I'm very interested in property in the United States, but you can't just do everything all at once. That is definitely the goal in the future. I'd like to be able to get something near my sister in SoCal. Obviously, a lot easier said than done because SoCal, super expensive in terms of prices. So that's the situation, but yeah, definitely. And ask Brendo. I mean, I was telling him about a piece of property that I found on Lake Erie, looking north, looking into Canada, northwest actually. So it was a hell of a property on the water, and it was going for much less than you would expect. And it had obviously great views of the sunset since it was looking northwest. It was amazing. But that is definitely my goal. I definitely want to have something in the United States. I want to have a foothold there, no question. Kelly Ortberg's in the chat. Did you see that, Adara? He's talking to you. Boeing over Airbus, but Adara over Boeing. Damn. We got an Adara admirer in the chat. Shout out to Kelly Ortberg. There you go. I don't know if you saw that, Adara. There you go. NATO potato. Okay, NATO potato. I think NATO potato is better. Yo, bear flag on BBAI. Let's say less, my man. Looking at it right now. We'll bring up Big Bear AI, see what we're seeing over here. He says, yo, bear flag, or sorry, bear flag? Okay, this is the half. That's not what we want. We want to look at the 5 minute. But brother, this is a bull flag,
Brother.
not a bear flag. This is an absolute bull flag. I mean, you've got the big pole that moves up, sideways consolidation. This looks like a pennant, in fact, because it's compressing with higher lows but lower highs. To me, this is a bull pennant and a compression pattern happening right now with that 395 low and that 427 technically high. My humble estimation is this resolves to the high side. Is there Big Bear AI news? Yes, there is. Here it is. Big Bear AI shares rise after the U.S. Navy awards a contract. They're up 13% when this was written. It was up 11%. The security technology company said the Seaport program serves the premier contracting platform for serves as the premier contracting platform for the U.S. Navy, streamlining the procurement process for technical engineering and professional services. The McLean, Virginia company said this multiple award contract enables Big Bear AI to provide innovative technologies and mission critical support to the U.S. Navy and other federal agencies. That is a good look. Government contracts are quite reliable, that you don't want to rely on them entirely, obviously, like Palantir was doing, looking to diversify, obviously, in commercial. So to answer your question, NATO Potato, no. This looks like a bull flag, not a bear flag. I hope that helps, Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff there. We got some question here that was sent to me. So can you explain to me what the options Greek are? I day trade options, been doing it for about 5 years. I've been watching your live videos and do not see any strike price or explanation dates or expiration dates. Do you have a video of what type of trading you're doing before I join? I'm very interested. So yeah, we trade common stock here on the floor. We don't trade options. I know 0 DTE were a thing that could potentially become. I don't know if that's still the case here. But what the options Greeks are, if you go back to the beginning of the video, I don't know if you're listening, you'll see a brief explanation. But considering we're here, I'll go over it one more time, and that's exactly what we're talking about. And then we'll touch on Vega real quick too, Sharif, because we didn't quite finish everything. So what we'll do here, here, let me zoom out. We'll go over what the Greeks are real quick, and then we'll touch on Vega and send it back to Sharif. So in options trading, the Greeks are a set of calculations used to assess and manage the risks associated with their potential options positions. They are financial measures that represents the sensitivity in options price to certain underlying variables. Each measure has a different impact on the options contract. Now, going back a couple steps, there are 5 of them. Delta being what the options contracts fluctuates, gamma being the delta of delta, theta is also time decay, vega being implied volatility, and then rho is the sensitivity to non-risk vehicles such as bonds, treasuries, etc. Okay, so now we're going to step on Vega real quick, and then we're going to send it to Dara. So Vega, here we go, guys. Vega is a measure of volatility, or historical volatility is an actual measure of the stock's past price movement. Okay, so IV or implied volatility is a measure of the stock's potential future price movement. So that's why leading into earnings, that's why you see that IV start to kick in, because the options market is pricing in what potentially can happen. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Try to keep it as simplistic. For example, a Vega of 0.2 means the options price will change by $20 for every 1% change in volatility. Higher volatility increases the value of options premiums, as it implies a greater likelihood of the options ending in the money. So the greater the volatility, the greater the fluctuation. You can also use the average true range to gauge if IB is high, right? The higher the ATR compared to regular, then the higher the implied volatility. So hopefully that helped you. Here's an example of what I'm always looking at too from an IB standpoint. You can see the Vega as well here, guys. So hopefully that helped you, but let's see what Adara's up to.
Breaking small cap news. That's right, you heard me, Sharif. TNXP, which does move sometimes here, and it's moved pretty recently. Tonix Pharmaceuticals actually getting spotlighted by Market Beat, which is this website that really just covers stock moves, analyst moves, any insider buys or major acquisitions or purchases. So Market Beat posted about this company here, TNXP, about 5 minutes ago. Then this was forwarded on social media. So TNXP getting some social media attention and a volume spike. But before we go back to the boys, I want to take a look here at this new graphic from TTV Research. We've been doing an earnings series as part of our new earnings, take here on the market recap that we started yesterday. And I'm really excited because we have a whole series on Apple earnings. I've done a couple in this style, which of course references the original Apple with the logo colors. Did a couple of this style. I've also done a couple in the new Apple style of black and white, so you can check all of those out on X. But this is the first one we've released. This is Apple's operating revenue by segment. So from 2007 to 2023, because of course we're heading into the end of the fiscal year this year, so you're going to see how different segments performed. I think the services segment getting really stronger is definitely of note. You'll find out when Apple reached the 1 trillion mark, the 2 trillion mark, different products that were introduced and then excised from their lineup. So check this out here on X, TTV Research. And again, we're going to have more Apple graphics coming out throughout the day. I will let you guys know as I put these out. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Sorry, Joseph, I got to correct you, brother.
Yeah, sorry, brother.
Yeah, you gave people the wrong information.
I did. Misleading.
You said Vega?
Yeah.
Vega.
Not
Joseph?
That's Vega.
This is Vega, man.
That's Vega, man.
And the second last guy, or the third last guy. So it was Vega, and then Sagat, right? And then Mbizin. It was always Vega, the third last guy.
Okay.
He'd be climbing on the cage, Joseph. You couldn't reach him. And then, he had all these acrobatic flips that he'd bamboozle you with. And not to mention, he's fighting a little unfair. He's got Wolverine claws. What's that, Andre? No, he's Spanish, actually. He fights, I don't know, from where?
In
I
Vegas.
gotcha. Okay, the
seems like
scenario
he
was in
right.
Vegas. Actually, I think that is right. Good call out there, Andre. I didn't know that.
know, man.
This is Vega. Joseph, you're giving people the wrong information.
Yeah,
man.
sorry,
Do
guys.
that on the show, man.
Sorry, guys.
You're kidding, of
I want
course.
to be misleading.
So this is one of my favorite games growing up. Obviously, I'm
Fighter?
ancient,
Yeah.
so forgive me for what's that? You too, Andre? There's my man. Which one though? Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Do you like Street Fighter with the new? What do they call them? The new challengers? The normal one. Okay. I like the one where they have the new challengers where you have T-Hawk, you get Cammy. Who else, Neil? Help me out, man. There's a bunch of different ones that they threw in the new challengers. Yeah, man. No, those were new. That was literally after Street Fighter 2 Turbo. They brought in the new challengers like Cammy. There was T-Hawk. There's a bunch of others, man. I'm just forgetting them right now. It'll come back to me. Shout out to people in the chat. They know, man. They know exactly what's up. I love that. OG Street Fighter. Yes, Street Fighter 2. Definitely there it is, guys.
The best fight game was Def Jam Fight for New York. Did you ever play that game?
No.
Really?
I don't even know what that is.
Wow, it's
I'm
where
not a
all the
video game
it's all
guy.
the rappers where all the
Oh, yeah?
rappers, yeah. So back in the day, yeah, you would get all the rappers fighting each other. Yeah.
I always fight with Ryu.
Ryu.
Yeah, Ryu's my guy. Either that or Ken. It doesn't. Yeah. So Andre's Ken. I'm Ryu. They're the same thing. Same moves. I don't know. It's just the ones that I learned how to do the best. I also know how to play with Guile because I can do the Sonic Boom. It's just back. It's back, forward, back, punch. I can still remember it. Back, forward, back, punch. That's all that it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're long again. LTBR, we just took a print at 60s right now. We're waiting at 65s. The reason I got in on LTBR at the highs because I perceived to be resistance at 45. Okay, we rejected 845 multiple times, and so we came back in after clearing it, going up to about 870. We defended it. So I didn't get the best price, obviously, but I waited for it to defend the level before I got in. So I'm long right at that 50 area, looking to take the next piece here at 65. And then if we get that 65 print, I'm going to wait for a piece for the dream. Eddie R, is this really a trade show? Dude, we got 3 hours to fill. Give me a break. We're going to talk a little, here and there. Why not Hadouken? Yeah, I feel you, brother. I feel you. Who else we got over here? Guile sucks, says Victor Liu. All right, bro. I mean, I like his background music, and I like, the people were cheering him on in the back. You got the F-16 in the background there. I don't know why he's fighting in front of an F-16, but that's what the producers wanted, the creators of the game. E-Honda was awesome. You would go like that. You couldn't get close to him, otherwise, you'd fly back. E-Honda was sick. I like Chung Lee as well. She's good. The Brazilian one, Blanca. Well, of course, Mr. Brazilian over there. He's a little biased.
Yeah, a little biased.
Shout out to Andre on the ones and twos right now. The Andre
3000, let's go.
Good times today,
Outcast,
dude.
man. No, the chat has been amazing as well too. So Andre 3000, we like that one. So we got a lot of super chats here, Sharif, to cover.
Yes,
the
sir.
only 4.499 super chat. Thank you. When you are scanning for, this is for you, Sharif, when you are scanning for penny stocks, what are the most important factors you're looking for before swinging or day trading, and what free resources do you use?
Okay, so I don't use free resources. I use my scanner from my platform, which we're not sponsored by, but guess who we are sponsored by? eSignal, okay? So it's not free, but you're going to have to ante up, but you're going to get great stuff. So here's the scanner right here, and here are the settings that I use for my scanner. I'd like it trading above 85 pennies. The reason I put 85, I typically like trading stocks that are above $1, but I'd like to have notice beforehand, as they're approaching that dollar. So Neil gave me the idea a while back. Drop your filter level down to 85 pennies. I also want to see more than 250,000 shares traded on the day. Now, let me tell you, that 250, that's for the pre-market. I'm just looking at what's running pre-market. When I'm looking after the bell, it better be over 1 million. And depending on the price, because it's price specific, it better be several million. Okay? So that's the first thing. Those are what I put in my scanners. Above 85 pennies, above 250,000 shares. That's number one. Number two, what I look at once I pull them up, it's got to have, first month is free, by the way, for eSignal. So you guys can test it out for free. So this is one of the most robust platforms out there, and you get a month free, which is a hell of a deal. By the way, there you go. Trade smarter, not harder. QR code on the bottom right. But to build on the point, once I get the name that I'm looking at, I look to see, does it have a definable pre-market high? If it was trading in the pre-market, I want to see an area crest or an area where it topped out at, okay? And then if I'm looking to trade it after 9:30, it better be above that pre-market high. I will not trade it if it's trading below the pre-market high. That's step number one. Step number two, I look, is it trading above VWAP, the volume weighted average price? If I get those 2 or 3 conditions, if it has a definable pre-market high trading above it, then I will look to get in at an opportune time, either a breakout trade or a pullback into a key area of support. That's typically what I do with these small cap gappers. Definitely not foolproof by any means, but it definitely helps put the odds in your favor. And that's all we're doing here. We're trying to put the odds in our favor. This is an odds business, a statistical probability business. I see you got all those super chats up there.
Yeah, we got a lot of super chats, but the only 4-point, look, you just paid $5 for $1 million answer right there. There you go. Good luck there. Thomas Gate. Actually, no, we're going to go over to Justin Mainhart because that's a little off topic. Bison rules boss. Maybe that's a Street Fighter reference there. Don't know this. But here we go. Thomas Gist. It looks like a cup and handle on NVIDIA 1 minute, or am I mistaken? Let's take a look here on NVDA. Sorry, I gotta zoom. I gotta maybe stop leaning in there so close so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, no, you're right. Cup and handle. I like this. That's exactly what this could be here. Whatever the cup, this could be the handle. Let's see if we decide to break out through the volume weighted average price here. Again, being the bearer of bad news on the market is Jensen and Company. That is how it goes to be this current sentiment there, guys. But here we go, guys. Yay. Listen, the Playmaker poll is up, all right? The Playmaker poll is up. We only got 1,000 votes. 4,000 of you guys watching. Let's get those votes in. Are we going long or short? I could probably guess that one. It seems like it's going to be a long. Get those votes in. If you do decide that, hey, I'm a little bearish today, you were probably not wrong for the majority of the session, but I do think that the market will start to recover here today. On what, man? Tesla.
The Katina man is $20 in the dang money on Tesla right now. He just sat down.
Pull the mic up, my guy.
He's going to show his screen in a second, guys. We're going to show it. He's just setting up right now. That's a ridiculous amount of money to be, or a ridiculous profit to have right now.
He's ready.
Get it, Katina man.
All right, so I just welcome everybody. So I was just filming something where we told you that we're doing various things, and I just came back, and this is not anything other than to talk about this trade, because you guys know we put this on earlier and we did not have a large amount of shares left. All right. But we had said that what we were trying to do was hold the last piece to see if we can make something happen. And I mean, that's the long right there. Look where, yeah. Oh yeah. Tesla's breaking out, my guy. Right there. There's the drop down. And I just found out, by the way, how did you, That I just found out today, and you guys might have talked about this. Recap show. today's recap show, I'm going to have the pleasure, and have never had the pleasure of doing this. It will be yours truly. We will be on live tonight to talk about Intel, to talk about Apple, to talk about Visa, talk about all these things. And I get the pleasure to be hosting with the man himself. It will be the professor, baby. Let's go. The professor is coming live on the recap show today. I'm him. He's him. We're him.
Who do you think you are? I am. Let's go.
Anyways, now we're playing around. All right, so I just want to say, like, so this, I just want proof of concept. That's all. It's like, you know, we'll hold the small piece. The small piece is now, you know, added, as you said there. It makes a difference. Here's the play. There's the hold on VWAP. Let's go Tesla. Get it, Tesla.
We're going to shout out the Katina man. Can't wait to do the market recap show with you guys today. No question about it. It's going to be really, really, well, we got Intel. We got Apple. And everybody knows, if you've been watching the show for a hot minute, that is my biggest position. A lot on the line for me today on the market recap show with the dead one, Apple.
A lot on the line. This guy. Oh, man. These are the days you live for, man. These guys like a lot on the line.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. We need a doing it live animation. I think that would be really good.
Man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So the market recap show, guys, in case you're wondering, if you haven't joined us, after the bell rings at 4 o'clock, we go back live. We cover the earnings plays. If you're newer to trading, always before the bell or after the bell. And the ones that are after the bell get very exciting because, well, everybody's already looking at them, right? You're not in bed still. So we're going to keep that on the hopper today. Very excited to see what Apple has in store. Widely expected to be weaker iPhone sales. I think that probably is already baked in to the price. I'm going to be out on alert, Joseph, to see any new models. Apple doesn't really tell you about their new models until they're out. Yeah. Or like a week before or whatever. Yeah. But widely speculated we could have a thinner iPhone. We could have a flip iPhone. Probably don't get that detail today, but I want to hear about services.
That's where
the services at? How much money are we making from these services?
Right.
What are the gross margins? Are we still printing 82% gross margins on that? You know what? Or are we dropping off a little bit?
You know what? I'm sick of it though, dude. Yep. To be honest with you, I own some Apple shares, Sharif, significantly more than but I'm sick of just a new phone coming out, same shape, just a little bit thinner, a little bit brighter screen, but essentially it's all the same stuff, man. Come with something new, get that flip phone out, do something else. I don't know, you guys. That's why you're the biggest company on the planet. Figure it out. Do something bigger. You know what I mean?
Agree.
Spend some cash.
Agree. And quite frankly, too, I want to hear more about the AI. Now, they have given us some information on that, Joseph. So we got the majority of the AI features that they've talked about are now out. The one that we're still waiting for, though, is ChatGPT integration with Siri. That's what I've been waiting for. Yeah. I've been waiting for a better Siri. For years, this thing has sucked. Okay? So if we get the better Siri, vis-a-vis ChatGPT and the small LL or the small language model that they want to keep locally on the device, I think that would definitely help move the needle. I'm not as much concerned about, this summarization feature of AI. I'm not as much concerned about the picture generation or whatever that they're talking about there. I want the good Siri. I want to be able to ask it detailed questions. I want detailed responses. I don't want these crappy, short responses, or I can't answer that, or I searched online and I looked for you. I want detail. This can't be that hard, Apple. Come on, it cannot be that hard. Google's been doing this for years. So the fact that Siri still sucks is a concern to me because it just either shows complete lack of awareness of their product or lack of capability, man. Either case, I'm not happy.
That's crazy.
Right? So that's the look right there. That's my little 2 cents on
yours. Because when I seen the new Siri coming out, it's like it lights up all around the phone and everything along those lines.
Yeah, it does that whole flicker thing. But Joseph, that's all animation. Where's the substance at?
Yeah, where's the substance? Yeah,
exactly. So that's my thinking right there, right? I need a lot better Siri. I think that's where we're You know, I already told you guys that I want to pay for ChatGPT, the full version of ChatGPT.
That's it.
What?
Hansen Saeed says we want Jarvis. That's exactly what we're looking for. Yeah, you need that. That's what I thought Siri was going to be, kind of the next thing, right? Because the limits are sky's the limit, I guess.
Quite frankly.
So
yeah, so that's what I'm looking for, guys. I'm definitely looking for a bit of a better Siri there. And obviously, we want to hear about everything else. How is everything else doing? Are the accessories doing well? How are the iPads? They just dropped a new iPad, obviously, with an upgraded chip. I think we're doing the M4 now. I got that bad boy. It's a good system. But you know, some of the products are getting dated. We definitely need some novelty in that as well. And with respect to the Vision Pro, we saw the Vision Pro last year. It was a very good product. I mean, it's obviously very bulky. Do we get information about the next gen of Vision Pro? What do they say about that? So these are things I'll be looking out for. Adair is at the big desk.
We're going to do a little crypto update here. Bitcoin, not as strong as it was earlier today when we were on that 106 level, but still holding on to 105,000. In terms of interesting crypto stories, one that I found that's pretty interesting is actually there's this report from Immunify, which is basically a bug bounty and security services platform. They look at security. And what they found was it's pretty interesting. So crypto-related hacking incidents in January 2025, they were up 9 times from December of 2024. However, on a year-over-year basis, they were down 44.6%. So it seems like there's a bit of a sequential increase on a monthly basis in crypto hacking incidents, but certainly down on a year-over-year basis. I don't know. I found that pretty interesting there. In terms of other crypto names, let's take a look at Ethereum on this daily chart as well. And man, this is a downtrend. We have lower highs. We have lower lows. We are below our election AVWAP as well on the daily chart for ETH. But let's take a look at Solana. We're just going to take a look at a couple of crypto names while we're here. Interesting little look for Solana. We were poised to being kind of a bull flag off of this base on Wednesday, January 15th. We get to this high just above 290, and we fall a little bit. Right now, we're actually rejecting some of these, not the lows, but the closing prices that we had going back to opening and closing on at 241. So we'll have to see what we do with Solana. Take a look at Cardano as well, another one that I know Sean is involved with here. And Cardano, not super exciting. We have a little bit of support here at that 0.85 level, but you know, certainly slightly lower highs, slightly lower lows. Cardano is a bit confusing except for that 85-cent support level. So quick crypto analysis with Adara is now over. We will return you to the Bash Brothers, but make sure to follow TTV Research on X. We will have a lot of earnings, so many earnings graphics to reveal along with these earnings on the Market Recap Show. Currently working on one that shows Intel's revenue and EPS during the entirety of the Pat Gelsinger run. So check out that Pat Gelsinger Intel graphic. It will be out soon. I will debut it on this desk. Back to you.
I want to read a couple of great comments. Shout out to Havana Woody. Great call out by Havana. Tim Cook has done an amazing job milking the cash cow Steve left him, but he has not made a better cow, better milk, or even some butter. This is great. He has just fleeced retail and made shareholders happy. That's basically a good summary of that. Obviously, you know, I don't think you're giving him as much credit for being a really good manager, but your point is very well taken. Where are the novel products? Even the novel product you dropped with the Vision Pro, I think I kind of feel like that was rushed to market. Nobody's going to walk around with these things on their head. It has to be kind of like that one. What was that one that Zug dropped?
Orion's.
Yeah, it's got to be in that form factor, dude. I mean, it's not a hard thing to be able to tell that humans don't want to walk around with a shoe tied to their face. Yeah. It's got to be glasses form factor, and if it doesn't fit that, I don't think it's going to be as big of a product.
He needs a face slapper.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Get it together, man.
So shout out to Havana, good comment there. Dale's Renewable World. Apple need a new innovator, otherwise they're just going to become a Dell or an HP. Vision Pro is a flop. Apple needs to get into robotics and aerospace. So I agree with partly of what you said. I don't think Vision Pro is a flop. I think it was great technology in the wrong form factor, eye-following technology, the retina display, layering the real world, or what we call augmented reality over the artificial world. I like all that. I think it's a great product, but wrong form factor, too early, too quick. We'll see. Can they do it a bit better? We'll have to wait. I mean, time will tell. So great comments from you guys in the chat, no doubt about it. Stuck Trader. Vision Pro came out too early. I feel the same way. Vision Pro came out too early because they were under pressure to prove they can bring it to market. I happen to agree. I don't know if they felt under pressure or whatever the incentive was for bringing it to market too early, but your point very well taken. I happen to agree with you very much so. What else we got here in the chat? What are other people saying? Let's see some of the comments. KKP, Apple's best innovation was dropping Intel chips. You're saying it jokingly, or maybe you aren't, but that is actually really important because their M processors are absolutely outperformed anything Intel has had. They're bringing that stuff in-house. They're designing their own chips. Where have we seen that? Oh, yeah, every other chip company ever. AMD, NVIDIA, AVGO. None of these guys make their own chips. They don't have any fabs. TSM or others make them for them. They design the chips that we know. So good point. Darth Buddha, Intel trying to break out of its wedge north again. Love to see this slow grind. Don't have eyes on Intel, but thank you for that call out. Joseph, what are you thinking over there?
I'm thinking Playmaker is what I'm thinking, brother.
My bad, bro.
Yeah, let's set this up here, guys. We got the Playmaker pool, and I'm just trying to think, like, I'm always just trying to think of things, like, what can we do to spice up this chart and see what we got going on with the Playmaker pool, because we want to stay innovative, unlike Tim Cook and company over there. So there we go. We got to keep the ball rolling, but I'm ready for this 35 entries here, Sharif.
Ready.
What is our entry price, my guy?
603.69.
69. Love it, love it, love it.
We're taking profits.
Yep.
At 605.69.
605.69.
That'll be below the low of the day, so that's good. And then we're taking everything out at 602.
602. Stop loss. 602.69. Thank you, guys. We're in at 107. I'll punch into the trade as well, too, guys. Let's see what we got going on. Oops, that's a wrong box.
Sergio, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me, Barry.
Okay, and there we go. So hold on, that's that, guys. So we're gonna document this. Let's see if we can keep that equity curve on the top slope. Another $7 super chat.
Canadian,
from
baby.
Canadian dollar. Big Daddies. Bookmap lesson soon. Always chime to this channel during my day job as an engineer. Your lessons are always good. A good refresher. Appreciate that. As for Bookmap, I don't think we don't use Bookmap here. I know it's a great. You're familiar with Bookmap, Sharif?
Yeah.
So it's a great tool. We don't utilize that here. We just look at the level 2 as it is. So for those who aren't familiar with Bookmap, it's essentially a heat map of the level 2, and it is a fantastic tool. But we don't utilize that here. But
there used to be a trader named Khaled. He was here about a couple of years ago. Shout out to him. I know he watches the show. So Cal, if you're in the chat, maybe you can chime in. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really have much to tell you. Last time I talked to him, though, he's 2 years deep using it. And according to him, he's now really understood how to use it. It's one of those ones that's really, you need a lot of practice under your belt. I got to tell you, I get a bunch of advertisements from them on my Meta my Meta-based platforms, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. Seems to come up there a lot.
You can, sorry, to add one more point there, one thing about the heat map, it's actually a fantastic tool because you can determine walls. The walls are displayed at levels that you necessarily can't see on the level 2, even though the order, like you'll see it on the order book, but just the display of it, and then the greater the heat, obviously the larger the wall or the orders may be, and you have the ability to use those on Bookmap to look for bounce and rejection levels as well to a potential price targets.
Can you send under the tickers?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna, I'm going to answer this question right now. NIP34. $10 super chat. Can you please go over trading halts and the website that you go to tell you where it may reopen? Okay, so let me just tell you something. So 2 different types of halts we got to talk about first and foremost. The first one is the volatility halt. That's when it moves 10% within what was it, 5 minutes? 10% within 5 minutes. That's plus or minus, okay? Up 10% or down 10% within a 5-minute window. That will halt for volatility. Typically, in those cases, when we're halted for volatility, you'll get them in increments of 5 minutes. Case in point, what time is it right now? It's let's say 1:10. So if something halts at 1:10, it'll open at 1:15. That's the default. It could be 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20, so increments of 5. That's the volatility halt. There's also the news pending halt. That is when a news headline comes in or the exchange wants more information from the company because it's typically the stock is trading erratically on no news. That's when we have a news pending halt, and that is indeterminate, okay? We don't know how long a stock will be halted at that time. It's gonna be you and your guess. And sometimes they are halted for days. So here it is, NASDAQ halted stocks. Here we go. We can show this, Andre. Current trading halts right there. So it's NASDAQtrader.com, and then you can kind of see it's a little bit of a HTML fuzz there, but that's all you have to do. Type in Google NASDAQ trading halts, and then you're going to have them right there. They're going to give you the halt date, the time, the issue symbol, what the issue name is, and the reason. You're going to have different reasons over there, and if you click them, you'll find out exactly what they mean. I don't know what this one means, LUDP. How can I find out? Well, we'll probably be able to do that from a different area. LUDP. I don't know how to find out the different trading codes. Do they have? Oh, halt trading codes. There we go. So there we go. So LUDP. Let's go down over here. Where is that? LUDP. There it is. Volatility trading pause. So this one is a volatility pause. So when you get this page over here, that's the actual halts. If you want to see what the codes are, because look, there's different codes, M, T12, etc. Click on the left over here, trading halt codes, and it'll give you an exhaustive list of all the different codes there that you can juxtapose to what is actually on the trading halt symbol. So this is where I get it. That's for NASDAQ. I've never actually been to the NYSE one, so I don't know, but I'm sure you can kind of get the idea there. I hope that helps. Guys, we have a new poll up in the chat. We have some good tickers there from Joseph. Baba being talked a lot about today, Joseph, after they dropped that Quen large language model. You got Nike on there, because I know you were talking smack about Nike. And then Visa, you were talking about the Visa and MasterCard being oligopolies earlier. And I know you were mentioning Starbucks to me earlier today. So you got some great names, names that we don't see often on the
up a little bit. You know?
Yeah, of course, bro. I'm gonna go with my boy right here, Alibaba. I know it's already getting love from the chat. 52% for the Babad one right now. So we'll keep an eye on that one, Katina, man, and we'll see what's good with that. Let's keep going over here and check out the trades that we're currently in. Okay, there we go. Now we're taking out the high of the day on LTBR, about 20 pennies in the money over here, but I ain't taking the profits here. Why? Why am I not taking profits? Because it keeps giving me higher highs and higher lows, Joseph. We wet our beak at 65. It's on the way to 72. I'd like something around high 80s, mid 90s. We're up 25% on this piece. Good look for LTBR. Let me tell you something else, though. BFLY. We were talking about this bad boy earlier. And now it's coming down into a good area that I like. Let's have a look at that. Where are my small caps? There we go. BFLY. So it's coming into the volume weighted average price. Now, I'm not going to size up big on this one because, look, number one, it's not a big mover, 14% and change. Number two, you know, I've been burned on these ones that pull into VWAP midday because they seem to be, they breach at times. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that VWAP touch. We're going to get in, and if it defends VWAP well, we'll add on the way up. I'm talking about BFLY, top right corner of your screen, up 14 and change, and coming off that 420 where it was met with aggressive selling, wasn't able to break above that fifth of a dollar, coming into the volume weighted average price, which on my chart, guys, is a little bit below 4 at about 396, 395. FOXX, Joseph, above VWAP again, doing the dance with no pants with $10. This one has an $11 high a day. I do like the look of this one's jib right now because what we're getting is incrementally higher lows. So each area trough higher than its predecessors. That means buyers generally are in control. So we're going to look to weasel into this one. We already had a few good trades on this bad boy. I think we got almost a high a day here on FOXX. Well, close. We got that 1040 pop there, but definitely should be able to do a little bit better. No question about that. FOXX in view, Joseph.
Yes, that thing is going. The chat is buzzing on that as well, too. But we're just getting the super chats rolling in today. Yeah, another $5 super chat. Thoughts on BlackBerry? I have played it between $4.30 and $4.47 the past 2 days. Chart is upwards for quite a while now. Sure. Anything for you? We'll pull up BlackBerry. BBM. And there we go. Yeah, so again, not the most liquid. You can see how we have this like kind of barcode or whatever scanning code price type price action. It's not necessarily something you want to be overly involved in. It's tough, right? So the liquidity is not there. What can we do from we'll zoom out here and see what we can do from a daily perspective. Trading nice off the lows, like you can't go wrong. You're up over 100% on this thing. If you're in this consolidation phase and then trading higher, am I going to be looking to get involved in BlackBerry? No, I don't know enough about this thing anymore, other than maybe it's a dying breed. I think they're just been clinging on to dear life ever since the iPhone came out. So I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what else they do because I don't even know if they don't even sell Blackberries anymore, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know what else this company does.
You know what they've been doing, Joseph? They've been liquidating their IP. They've been all these different patents, intellectual property, all these different things that they've had that they patented.
And they're just selling them off. Okay, so there you go. But how long can that last?
Great question. Yeah, Neil, any idea what BlackBerry's been doing to generate money lately? QNX thing, says Neil. Because Neil follows them a lot closer than I do, certainly.
So yeah, I mean, if that, then you'd have to dive a little bit more than what I would know or can tell you from a technical standpoint. But if you're taking in some profits, there's nothing wrong with that, and continue to do so until otherwise, right? Until keep milking something until it stops working. That's part of the name of this game here. But guys, we got to talk a little bit about Nike continuing this ascent here on this intraday chart, trading higher and higher on the session. Let's see how much we're up from the lows here. Yeah, and up only about 2.5 or 2 and a fifth there on Nike. But I mean, guys, nice trade. Seth in the chat pointed this out. He's been talking about it all morning. Said we were sleeping on it, but here we go. Nike continuing to move to the top side there, guys. But let's see what else we got going on. We got TQQs. We're just sitting in this one. As the market slowly climbs higher and higher, I would like let's see what Microsoft is up to, because I think it depends a lot. Let's go here to the 5 minute. Yeah, and whoa, okay, so this is going to be really important for the Qs here, all right? So keep this in mind. This consolidation phase, let's see which way this thing decides to break. I mean, like what? So Azure's growth was at like 31%. The street had estimates around 33% or something along those lines, Sharif. Yes, I don't know of the exact numbers, but I mean, is that horrible? I don't think that's horrible from a growth standpoint, even though you have mentioned that Google Cloud and as well as Amazon Web Services has been stealing market share. But other than that, that's still a phenomenal growth rate if you ask me. So Azure's still doing big things. I think it's going to continue to do so. So let's see where we can break from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, should I go over some of the earnings stuff?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. All right, so it was interesting here. Joseph, bang on. Azure, lower than expected Azure cloud growth and disappointing revenue forecast. Their Q3 revenue, kind of weird that their Q3 is in everybody's Q1, but that's their fiscal year. That's how they do things. They're guiding a light, and I'm joking when I say this, right? $67.7 to $68.7 billion in revenue on the quarter. The street was looking for more. The street's greedy, bro. 69.78, so about $2 billion to $1 billion miss with respect to how they did on the actual quarter, their Q2 financial performance. They beat on EPS. They beat on revenue and net income. Guys, this is the profit. They took home $24.11 billion in profit, which was up from $21.87 year over year. So $3 billion more, no, a little bit less than three in extra profit there. But the Azure revenue or the growth of Azure is what's concerning. They grew at 31% year over year, but that is down from the last quarter. So Q1 they grew at 33%. So the slower growth is concerning because it's typically going to the non-big players. It's not AWS who's stealing market share from Azure, or maybe they are, but they're not the significant stealer of market share. It's Google, it's Oracle. Oracle only has 3% of the business, right? So they have so much room to grow. And now Larry Ellison is like popping up in popularity right now because the Orange Man's got him at the White House, right? So it's a good look for some of these the main three, Google, AWS, and Microsoft. And so with respect to AI investments, man, they're deep. They're knee deep in this. They're spending more than Meta. 80 billion or to 85 billion they're spending. But I think According to Satya, that's going to slow down, Joseph, in 2026. They expect slower spending, whether it's with respect to data centers or whatever, in 2026 as compared to 2025. They're also diversifying their game. We mentioned this earlier. They're obviously expanding their relationship with OpenAI. We saw that vis-a-vis the selfie from Altman and Satya Nadella. But they're also including DeepSeek's R1 right now on their Azure platform. So they're looking to get into that as well. Now, so that's the look right there. I mean, I think I summarized it pretty decently, and these are my notes on it. So if you guys want to take screenshots, obviously have at it, baby. But that is the look. So Microsoft's still a hell of a company. It's down 6% today, Joseph. But you mean these guys are printed $25 billion in profits,
man, pure money. But I had to give the money storm for Payco because he always chimes in. He's just said when he's making money, he said just money and money storm. So Payco is always.
You get the money storm anytime you want.
Storm, man.
All right, guys. We're long right now, BFLY. As I said, I'm going to go long. I went long at the volume-weighted average price. We're taking one out so far. Now I'm waiting at 9s. It's showing me 8s at the ask, and then I'm waiting at 14s. Okay? So we're looking here at BFLY. I don't even know if this is a small cap gapper. Does it even qualify? Let's find out. BFLY. What's the market cap on this one? So yeah, okay, sub 1 billion, 868 million, excuse me, 11.1 million shares traded on the day. And what's a float on this monster? About 153 million shares, give or take. So definitely not small. Let's find out what the short float is on it. BFLY is the ticker. BFLY, 12.13. Okay, decent. It's got like a 12 and change % short. That's not bad. So we could definitely get some movement on that. It hasn't been parabolic on the day, except, on the opening print there at 9:30, which is to be expected. That's the most volatile time of the day, obviously, with the close as well. Fox, guys, FOXX, not FOX, is moving up again, boys. Here we go. So this is where we took everything out last time at this 10.5, 1060. It's moving up there again. Do we get a quadruple top today at 11? Because we've already rejected 11 umpteen amount of times. So this is a good look right now for FOXX. This is the #1 gapper in the market right now, up 260%, having a whole lot of trouble with that $11 area. Now when I look at it a little bit deeper, FOXX, look at that hug of the 20 exponential moving average, not something I typically see with these small cap gappers that are very respectful of the 20. Usually it's the 10 or VWAP for the most of the time. This one seems to have an affinity for that 20 exponential. Look at that. It doesn't breach the 20 at all. So you feel like whatever algo is trading this is really basing its entries or exits off that 20 exponential. So definitely interested in getting back into this one if it presents me with the right opportunity, Joseph. I'm talking about FOXX on the NQ.
Good look there, my guy. So yeah, let's see what we got going on in the TQs. As Tesla slowly continues to climb higher, Microsoft not looking too pretty. That consolidation phase that we were talking about earlier is going to be really key. And it's kind of what happened yesterday with NVDA. You're going to want to see that volume pick a direction. And when it steps in, then you can look to play the break of those key levels. I'll be keeping my eye on it. Don't usually trade Microsoft from an intraday perspective. But again, we had the earnings last night, so it's definitely in play. You need to look for a certain strategy. So if you're grabbing the bottoms and key support levels here and then looking to sell at the top of the range, that's ideal. And the inverse of that, if you're selling the top of the range and covering at the bottom, as you kind of fluctuate, that's the ideal iron condor price action right there, guys. So good look there. Possible double bottom on MSFT. Here we are. As you can see here, we marked this out. So if we break through this, the volume weighted average price and this resistance zone, you're going to want to see that volume to step in so we can classify this as a genuine move. But the money is just absolutely flowing in today, Sharif. I don't even know what to do with ourselves. $10 super chat. Hi, I'm JJ. Hi, JJ. Thanks, Trade TV teams. Since I started to be disciplined in my trading plan, I have 32% profits in the last 3 months. Although I keep watching live every day and you created my confidence in trading. Thank you. You're getting claps around the board. Adara's clapping for you. Sharif's clapping for you.
What is
wow. What is
happening
happening
here, bro?
Oh, my days. Thank you. Keep up the discipline. Good work, though. Hi, I'm JJ. Really good work. Glad to see that you're improving your trading.
Good, bro.
And keep improving, all right? Don't think that you've hit the pinnacle or anything. Always try to be 1% better every day. Hey, guys, hope trading is going well. Big Dub, Nick, it's our guy. I haven't seen him for a minute. Yeah, I haven't seen him for a minute. Yeah, OG. Hey, guys, hope trading is going well. I wondered your thoughts on Rivian. I'm long on the name big time, but wondering if I should move my swing to CVX. Sharif, do you want to touch on that one? Because I know you're a little bit more.
Absolutely. So CVX, I don't have an opinion on. I don't know, man. I don't know how to read this energy trade because, quite frankly, I don't know if the drill, baby drill look with the new administration is going to bring up prices or drop down prices. We'll have to see if they can get very efficient. I know CVX has a major foothold in the Permian Basin, which seems to be very profitable for everybody operating there. Shout out to Landman. Great show. Not that I've watched it. Fine. So that's my take on CVX. I can't give you much on that. With Rivian, I'm more than willing to chime in. Let's load up the chart and talk about what they've got on the hopper there. Quickly, I just want to look at my positions before I continue, though. How's my LTBR? We're going to 75s. Okay, so we're still holding LTBR, high day 75s right now. So let's load up the Rivian daily and have a look at Rivian. So I'm concerned about Rivian, just looking at it from a year and a half. This is the year and a half look right now on Rivian. All I see is lower highs. That's what stands out to me immediately. July 2027, $28, that's the high. October 2023, did I say 27? August 2023, that $28, that's the high. Then October 23, 25. And then what is this? December, January, 24 and change. Then July of this year, 19. And then, sorry, Katina, man, January of this year, 17. It's lower high, lower high, lower high. I don't like that, okay? I like their cars. They're amazing. The R1S, the R1T, they're all real good. But it's kind of like Tesla when they only had the Model S and the Model X. When are you going to drop that more affordable model? I'm talking about the R2. They even went so far as to talk about the R3, which we're not expecting, I think, to 27 or 28. The R2 is supposed to find its way onto the scene in 26. I don't think we're going to get it this year. So I would hold off on Rivian until I get more information there about that. But then again, you could say the other side of the argument is, well, I'm not going to buy when the information comes out because it's a buy the rumor, sell the news type market. And you would have a point about that. The question to me, though, is with the $7,500 likely being removed, is there still demand for these R2s enough to justify the price? And how much do they come out at? Are they going to be able to produce them cheaply enough to be able to, drag in that consumer? So the Rivian chart is not to my liking. I like the Rivian cars and I like their story, but it's TBD, to be determined whether or not they can do it. Now, not everybody's like Elon, bro. Not everybody's going to sleep at on the couch at the factory, right? I don't know what RJ's lifestyle is like. He doesn't strike me as Elon-esque, but who knows? Rivian, I like the car. I don't know about the price action, though, on the chart. I don't know if anybody else has a different opinion. You have any opinions on that?
I do not, my friend.
Yeah. So that's my look on Rivian so far. But I mean, if you were to ask me, Sharif, would you get an R1S? Absolutely. My brother-in-law's brother-in-law had one a couple of weeks ago. He came over with it. Dude, it's an amazing car.
Yeah.
Flashlights, portable speakers. I mean, the actual software doesn't have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but you don't really need it. The software, the internal software itself is fantastic. Right. So I like the cars, but yeah, that's a look there.
Another $2 super chat, man.
Are you kidding me, bro?
No, I'm not kidding you. Kraken is the next Acon RS and picking up volume. Yeah, let's take a look at Kraken here, because I know you were trading Acon there, locked up there. Locked up on Acon CRKN. Okay, so not the most liquid. I don't know if Sharif would trade this either, because it's below your threshold. Oh no, $6.70. See, I need better glasses. It's looking like rolling into that, guys. But let's take a look at Crown Electronic, whatever that may be. Kinetics. Oh, okay. Electronic kinetics there. I think that's what they're trying to get on. Yeah, from a daily perspective, not something I would look to be getting involved here. I mean, look at this. This thing, no way, that is insane. So this thing was around $5,000.
It must be split.
There has to be a reverse somewhere.
What is that, Joseph?
It is
CRWN?
CRKN.
CRKN?
Yeah, CRKN.
CRKN. Let's flip to the daily. We'll see. I can already tell you. There it is. There it is. There it is. Multiple splits, Joseph.
Splits. So yeah, I mean, not too much about that. Thank you for the super chat. But is it the next Acon? I don't know enough about these companies other than from a technical standpoint. I don't know, Shreve, if you know anything about Crown Electrokinetics, but yeah, that's that one. Thank you for the super chat. Katina Man's all out of Tesla here. So good look there. Yeah, good look from Katina Man.
Nice trade, China.
IBIT is continuing to sell here, guys. Unfortunately, couldn't hold those highs. But I still like Bitcoin from a daily perspective. We'll take a look at spot here and see what we got going on. We are sitting on top of this range, but again, just consolidating for a long period of time, a longer period of time than what I would necessarily like. But this breakout better be something along the lines of a 33% gain or something. That's what I'm thinking here, because that's what would happen last time, and I'll talk about it again. We just had this phase that was just so long, and then I'm not going to call this lackluster, but you would expect a little bit more continuation in this thing. But I guess as it gets more expensive, you need a lot more capital inflowing in this to start to move the price drastically. So, I mean, with the help of the ETFs is fantastic, but does it also limit its volatility and the skew that can happen to the top side here on Tesla? Because Wayner would always, on Bitcoin, sorry, because Wayner's like, yeah, when you're watching this thing, you'll see the volatility pick up as we start to appreciate in price, and you can see the volume as well too, guys. So I mentioned time and time again, you can put in those 10K days, and we haven't seen too many of them over the past couple of months, even in the years, especially in this halving cycle. But we are still in the early stages of the halving cycle, Sharif, because we just entered the second year, which I believe is in the second year of this current halving cycle, which I believe that we have in April or May or something along those lines. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So still a lot of time, and it's usually the third year that is one of the best performing. So
interesting. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
Guys, there's an IPO too. I mean, we thought it was today, but apparently launched on the 28th. We're talking about TWNP. So there was an individual, I think, Twin Peaks IPO today. Funny, because TWNP, here it is. It's called Twin Peaks. For whatever reason, my platform is calling it Twin Hospitality. This is the daily on it. So you see that it launched on the 28th. It traded yesterday. It traded today. These are all each subsequent day is an inside day of its predecessor. So it's looking bull-flaggish because it's not giving up the ghost right now. It's not breaking down below the lows. We're above yesterday's lows. Yesterday was above the previous day's lows. It looked like this one opened up at $1.65. Are you for real? This thing opened up at $1.65 and then it's trading at 18? For real? All right, let's flip to the 5. This is the 5-minute look. As you can see, very sparsely traded. The shareage today is basically nothing. 75,200 shares have exchanged hands today. That ain't it for me. That's not a glowing endorsement of IPO season. At least it doesn't feel like that to me. So I'm not going to have anything to do with TWNP, but there is an IPO. I really hope that we do get more IPOs this year. I think the incoming administration with the FTC and the DOJ now changing leadership and changing personnel, we may get more of those, right? It feels like it's been a hiatus from these IPOs as of late, so it feels. So that's kind of my look there. Nothing that I can really give you on that because they're just not doing enough shares. All right, guys, I took profits over here on your friend BFLY. We took 9s. Now I'm waiting at 14s. I saw that LTBR did break the 10 exponential, but on a wick basis, I've moved up my stop now on LTBR from below 40s to below 50s now. So we're going to move up that bad boy to lock in some profits. But I'm very interested now, guys, in weaseling my way into FOXX. This thing is absolutely respectful of the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. I have no idea why. I kind of don't care, but what's striking to me about it is I don't typically see these small cap gappers respecting the 20. It's usually the 10 or VWAP, usually. That's not a hard and fast rule, just an observation that I've had. So every wick and closing print has been above the 20 exponential moving average on the 5 today on FOXX. So let's get in here. Let's give this one the old college try. Where's my 20 at? So I'm going to place my low, my out below the 20. So we're going to have to give this one all the way down to 18s. So let's throw that on there right now. Let's go 9, and then we'll go 11. We'll go all the way down. We'll give it a 10 penny spread there. Let's throw out some orders, possibly there in the high 80s for some outs, and then we'll layer the orders up above 10. It's coming in now. Geez, right when I get in, it comes down. So we're going to leave this one, let it cook. And then it's going to have to hold above the 20 exponential for me to stay interested in this one. So FOXX, we're involved in that. We're still involved in the other two. BFLY still along, 16.5. LTBR, where's that bad boy at? There it is. We got into $0.75 on LTBR, rejecting for now. But guess what? We still made those higher highs. Sorry, lows, excuse me. So it's keeping me optimistic about it. I'm talking about LTBR up 24%, that we could break and take that 75. I think I'd probably be waiting in the low 80s. Given the amount of time left on the show, I think we're about 25 minutes deep. Nick Dubb, shout out to Nick Dubb with another super chat. My man is dropping cash in the chat today. Like that flat top wedge on Fox with tight stop. It's a good one, dude, because that $11 has been in play all day on FOXX. Every single print has been below $11, and it's not for like the lack of prints at around that level. There's been multiple. There's somebody selling up a storm at 11 or taking profits at $11. So definitely keeping an eye on that. Shout out to you. Rohit Sharma says time to short Tesla. We'll talk about that after we're done paying some bills.
Hey guys, eSignal, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Receive profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game, customize and analyze markets faster your way. Better backtesting and scanning, predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data, up-to-the-second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. That is eSignal, guys. We all know that the first month is free, so you may as well just try it out and see how you feel about it. You know, Sharif's been using it. He's loving it, so that's another reason for you to just go in and try it. So scan that QR code, sign up for that first month. It's free. And then if you don't like it, then you can just cancel it. But if you do, then just continue with it, and hopefully it improves your trading there, guys. But, okay, I need money. PLTR. He's talking about PLTR. Let me see what we got going on with PLTR. Yeah, really coaching in on those all-time highs there. I need money. Let's see what we got going on from a 5-minute time frame. Wow, yeah, that volume is really starting to kick in. Good call out here, breaking through some key resistance levels with that momentum and that volume stepping into this price action. Really good stuff. Let's see if we can go and test the high a day, which is around 81.70 on that one. So good shout out to I Need Money. And let's zoom in here a little bit and see what we got going on. So really nice volume relative to what the rest of the session has been putting on, especially the past hour and a half or so. So that's what you want to see in a genuine move. You really want to see that volume start to kick in and start to move that price, especially when you have key levels to break through. So good look there on I Need Money. Apple running into some really interesting areas. We got this wedge going on as well too, guys. Let's draw a little something here. Here we go. Look at those. Look at those higher lows. All right, and then boom, look at this. Key resistance level there. All right, let's see if that momentum steps in on Apple and we get that break. The chances are running into earnings. Are we going to want to run this price up? Maybe. It's looking like that's going to be the case because the overall market is continuing to trade higher and higher. Should have added here on the Qs, guys, but this is what we got going on, just kind of milking this one here. So long the Qs here and then put in this phase, nice pullback. Should have added when we had the inability to create any new lows, and then now we can continue to appreciate higher and higher. So that is the look on Apple, excuse me, and the TQs. I want to pull up Microsoft and see what we got going on with this, with Softy, as the boys like to call it, Obi and Sharif.
Go.
Did we break through that phase? Not just yet, guys. So really, really key, that volume is not stepping in. And if that volume doesn't step in on Apple on that break, and it looks like it's going to break, but you don't see the genuine move, there's no, what's the term I'm looking for? I'll have to think about it in a second. Cause and effect, effort and result is what I'm looking for. So if you see a large amount of effort on that, but the result is that there is no real volume, that can be classified as a potential false break, all right? So when I refer to effort and result, that's where you correlate the price action and the volume candles. The bigger the candle, the more effort that there should be, all right? The more volume in those underlying assets, in those volume signatures. You want to see that in key breakout levels. Another $2 super chat. Bang on Fox Sharif. Nice, well done. Thank you, Nick, for all the super chats. Those big Tesla buyers around 397, did it push through? Oh, let's see what we got going on with Tesla. Haven't really watched it today. It didn't set up how I wanted. You guys seen my notes. It was my #1 trade idea, and I had big plans for it this morning, but it didn't really work out. It didn't come to fruition, my guy, but we found other things to trade.
Oh, yeah.
But here is Tesla trading really nice. Still positive on the day, up about 3.7%.
Yeah, Joseph is kind of, glossing over the fact that he had a monster freaking trade today on IBIT, and I was watching that live in living color in the morning. My man was adding aggressively, and he was in the money. He kept adding more, and it kept going up. And he had his headphones on.
I was zoned in. I told this guy, man, I came in, I was zoned in, I was ready to perform.
Yes, sir. No, you did well, bro. You're always killing it.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to Joseph Wilson. All right, guys, we're in Fox right now, zigging and zagging in front of 10. I'm waiting at 10.05s, I believe, showing me 91s right now, up 242%. Looking for this one to squeeze. Shout out to Nick Dubb. We've been looking at this one all day. I'm talking about FOXX. It's a fantastic look on this one. Let's see if it continues with the trend and we get a 10 top break. And then the best part would be if we get an 11 break, because that's been an elusive price to get above. We're doing well here on BFLY. We got 02s long. Now we're knocking the door of 13s. I'm waiting at 14s. I don't know if I should be waiting any longer. Probably just take the penny here, but it's showing me aggressive buying. As you can see, the green come in there. There's not too much size, to be quite honest with you, on the level at 13. Just a few hundred lots on a name that I think could take that price out quite easily. So we're going to give this one a look. Boom. There it is on Fox. We take out that 10.05s. Now I'm waiting. You know where I'm waiting. I'm waiting at 10.69 before we get that break of 11. I'm going to move up my stop now below this area trough at 9.25. I'm going to move it to this area trough at 9.50. Now that could be a bit of a mistake because it's coming right back down here into my entry. Thankfully, we de-risked. No, I think that's the right thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and put it right there. So 9, we're going to go like that, and then we're going to give it to there. And then we have to cancel the previous stop so that we don't get short accidentally on that, you know what. So moved up the stop, feeling good about this one. Let's see what comes. Okay, so BFLY, don't get the 13 print, back down into 12. How about LTBR? We were involved in that one. That's printing days high. We're at 75s right now on LTBR. It's up 25%, but we've been up here before. I didn't take profits here before. So why would I take profits here now? It's either going to break into 80s or I'm going to get stopped out. Simple as that. Keeping my eye on all three of these bad boys, all small cap gapper-like stocks. It's been a good day. Nick Dubb, I think 10 looks great, and actually I like the flat top break to hold 50%. Shout out to you, my man. I hope you print up multiple storms on that. He goes on to say, crushing these small caps. Well done, dude. I do appreciate the kind work, Nick. I like the tight stop, but I think it's got to hold for the big move. BBAI, don't miss it. We covered BBAI today. Somebody was asking us about that and had a good look. They got a deal. They got a deal with the U.S. Navy, and that's always good. Adair is at the big desk.
I'm so excited to present our newest TTV research graphic. It's probably the favorite that I've done. And ahead of Intel earnings, I thought, why not take a look at Intel's earnings? But they have a very long history. So to limit it, we're only going to be looking here at reports during the very short reign of Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger, now former CEO. You could see him hanging out in the corner here. And this was not a particularly great era. You could see this decline here for the most part in revenue. You can also see some comments he made throughout the reports. For example, when their earnings per share dropped 109% year over year, Pat Gelsinger said, we delivered solid first quarter results. So really, really interesting look here at the destruction of wealth that unfortunately occurred under the reign of this man. But if you want to take a look at this in even more detail and see some other fun earnings quotes that Pat Gelsinger made during earnings calls and in the reports, you can check this out on X at TTV Research. I think it's really fascinating here. And especially what I didn't realize is he's been involved in Intel in some capacity as early as 1979. And Pat Gelsinger was also Intel's first chief technology officer. So when you think of that history, it's kind of wild to see what happened to the stock while he was CEO and what happened to its revenue and EPS. Regardless, I think it's worth a look. Check it out on X, guys. Back to you.
Ray David, hilarious. Thank you very much for that, Adara. Joseph was just complimenting those infographics. Those are sick, Adara. Make sure you are following the Trader TV research. If you are not on X, you are missing out. Adara kills it on that, and she keeps her eye on all the big market news. So if you want to be apprised of what's happening, you will follow that account. Thank you again, Adara. So here's the deal. BFLY, we didn't move down the exit. We got some out there. Now we're waiting. I'm waiting at 20s. So next level on BFLY, we're waiting at that 20 penny level. LTBR, I don't know, man. It seems to be rejecting off 75 multiple times. So that's the deal there. We'll see if it wants to clear. But we're doing well on FOXX. Here comes the squeeze. Here comes the $0.50. 40s now showing up. We're long 73s, 973s, 1040 showing up now. 1040 has been a level. We've wicked higher, but look at the closing prints. They're all at 1040. The 1040 has been a tough level to clear. 59s, you know I'm waiting at 69s, man. So let's go. Let's see if we can get that 69 print. We're showing 55s now. The bid dying off a little bit here as the buy orders start dropping. Here we go. We just saw 60s. I'm going to take it out here. Come what may. There we take it out at 60s.
No,
Here it is, 75. Why did I do that, Joseph?
Punch all out there?
Well, I only had one more out. Yeah. There's 11 again, guys. Here we go. Another 11 rejection. Surprise. So it rejects 11 for the umpteenth time on the day, at least for now. Underline that. For now. How many times are we going to accumulate with higher lows into 11 and not break it? I think it's just a matter of time. Where and when it happens, your guess is as good as mine, but there it is. Shout out to Elon. I know you were in that, Elon, and I know where you're long from. You're long from the low 9, so my man's printing money on that because you've been telling me about where you've been long all day. Shout out to you. Way to stick to your convictions, Elon. A great trader in the chat. Nick Dubb, what a trade. Got to hold some for the flat top, bro. I know I suck, bro. I suck. So we'll look to get maybe like a couple of shares down here so maybe we can participate in that flat top breakout. It's the exact opposite of this one, Joseph. It's the exact. So look at it the other way. Flat top break rather than the flat bottom break. It's been a good day on these here markets, as Adara likes to say. We're going to keep an eye out to see what other new small cap entrants there are. And I got one for you guys. It's got a nice funky name. ZAP, Z-A-P-P. It's $1 and change, but it looks good. Let's flip to the 1 minute chart. This is very, very bull flaggish right now. You get the big move up, and it's a trade that showed up very late in the day at around 1:30. I have no reason why this is moving up. I'm looking at my blotter. Nothing's showing, but I like the higher low situation with that flat top, probably around the $1.50. So ZAPP up 38%. Here are the details. $6 million market cap, 7.3 million shares traded, which is kind of light for a dollar name, but not bad. The float, very small, 1.6 million shares. That means it can squeeze. Let's find out what the short float is using Trade Ideas. 3% give or take is the short float there. That could be up to 2 weeks old. ZAP, if you're interested. In play right now, Joseph.
Hey, good luck there. We got another $2 super chat from Kunizera. Sorry if we butchered your name there, but I appreciate the super chat. And you ask and you shall receive. So here we go. We're going to take a look at Oracle and Company, ORCL, and see what we got going on. Like, look at this fantastic price action here from Oracle. On a 5-minute standpoint, so we're zooming in on an intraday perspective. Really good look, solid consolidation phase, forming those lower highs there. So higher lows, guys. And then now running into some flat topish, some resistance zones. Let's see if this thing can continue. We're going to zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. And now looking like we're going to enter this gap down day. So we all know what happened with Jensen and company and what's going on with NVDA. And sure enough, Oracle was affected by that, but still recovering drastically better than NVDA. So good luck here. If you enter the gap and hold it, I think that this can be sustained, and you look for that gap fill. So we were just below all-time highs on this thing before it decided that it wanted to sell off with the rest of the market. Excuse me, but here we go. I like it. Oracle's looking really good, and it's really started to pick up steam here. We know that for a long time, for over a year or so, it was just stuck in this consolidation phase, and it's like, is Oracle that great of a company from a technical standpoint? But as of right now, it's looking really good, and the price appreciation has really started to kick in. I know Jimmy Cramer on Mad Money is always waxing, as Sharif is still in your line now, Sharif, waxing poetically about Oracle. So here we go. Good luck there, and Kuni Zara, hopefully that helped you a little bit. But if you're in Oracle, I think hold that until you get that gap filler. Look for some profit targets. Set those profit targets for you on your platform, and then and stop losses as well too. You can't have one without the other. So make sure you do that. Hit those targets, and then be accepting of the trade that you have implemented. So yeah, chat's just been buzzing today, guys. You have been doing a fantastic job participating. Much love from Sharif and I going towards the chat, especially those who have been constantly participating in it. So we appreciate your contribution. It means a lot, and it goes a far way, guys. So thank you very much. Let's see what's going on with Tesla. Slowly starting to pull back in here a little bit. Like the overall market, slowly grinding higher. We're looking for 606 for our Playmaker pool, but as of right now, we're still in the money. Tesla looking half decent. When I seen this, I'm like, oh no, I missed this tweezer double hammer bottom here on that, which sounds insane. Like, what is this guy talking about? Tweezer double hammer bottom, which is like just pure stock talk, I guess, whatever you would want to call it. But that's a really good reversal signal. You not got one, but two hammers on that one, my guy. What are you looking at?
I'm looking to see if your friend RFK there, I know I call everyone your friend. I'm sorry, Joseph. RFK gets the nomination. I was looking, there's on call sheet right here. So I typed in RFK, and then it's like bringing me other stuff. Which senators will vote for RFK, or how many senators will vote for RFK. That's not what I want. I want to see whether he likely gets the approval or not. Like this one here for Tulsi Gabbard. Who will be Trump's National Director of Intelligence, Chris Stewart or Tulsi Gabbard? Right now, Tulsi's winning, I guess, 52%. Say the betting market. So the reason I'm even interested in this, I told you guys yesterday, I have a swing position in MindMed. Obviously, that is one of the companies that uses, alternative forms of medicine. I'm talking specifically about psilocybin and some others. And RFK has, expressed his opinion with respect to those kinds of things. And, there's a bet out there that they do well. These companies that do these type of things do well under RFK's stewardship of the Department of Human Health, or what is it called? The Department of Human Health and Human Services, something like that. Shows how Canadian I am, right? I don't even know what to call it. Health and Human Services, Adara? Yeah, thank you. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and there's really nothing coming out of these markets. So that's a look. Let's see what other people are talking about. Excuse me, D-Loaf. Sharif. Let's do a quick lesson on swing assessment. Look at SMH, trying to push the top range of the Monday deep sea gap down. What do we have to see to stay long? Currently 4% in the money. Shout out to D-Loaf, man. 4% ain't a joke. Let's have a look. So you're talking about the semiconductor ETF, for those who are not familiar what SMH is. Let's flip to the, let's go to the hour so we can properly have a look at that big drop down. So this is the gap that D-Loaf is talking about. We were trading, we were fine, doing above 260. I think we closed out that day at around 261. Then all hell broke loose on Monday when we opened up at 247 on SMH. Got as low that day, sadly, as 232. We're covering right now into that 244 high a day. We're at 242 right now. So there's still, we're not even above D-Loaf, above that 247. So you're for 4% in the money. I happen to like this look. I will happen to like it a lot better once we get above 250. So that's the best we could do that day, that 250 print, despite the fact that we opened up at 247 and we closed down at 244. The range was wild that day, 250 at the highs, and then I believe we dropped down as low as 232. You guys get that? That's a big range for an ETF. I don't know, man. I don't think the CapEx is going to dry up as quickly as people think. Even if DeepSeek is a disruptor, I think that, you know, the money's going to get spent. I think these companies would rather overspend than underspend and be left behind when their competitors outduel them because they took the chance and spent the money. That's just my personal opinion. That's a fundamental look. The technical look is you like anything above 250 because 250 fills that gap, starts to fill that gap. Obviously, the gap needs to be filled all the way up into 260. That's kind of how I see that. So shout out to D-Loaf. What else we got over here? Looking at some RFK Jr., yet another one of your heroes, says Eddie R. No, not really. I don't think he's a hero of mine. I wouldn't call him that. He's an interesting character. Very interesting opinions, obviously. Don't agree with him on everything, like I don't with a lot of people that I, like Elon, as well as some others. Of course, I don't agree with them on everything. Nick Dubb, check out CRSP. Great company on RFK, invested in it. Think the guy's crazy, but never hate a tailwind. Well said, Nick Dubb. Let's have a look at that one. He's talking about CRSP. I'm talking about CRISPR Therapeutics, right? So I think what's her name is involved in that. Aunt Kathy.
Gene editing.
Gene editing, yeah, exactly. Aunt Kathy loves that look as well. Very consolidative. Look at that. I mean, it got the pandemic pump. So did a lot of these guys. 170. Geez, Louise. It's a great area to pick it up right at now. $40. This area has been being defended for all the way back to May of 2022. We've been defending this area low. It's been in a very consolidative state. Hard to discern any trend because you have a higher high over here, but then you also get a lower low. So very consolidative. I like it at 40. You know, you could risk $5, give it to 35. Not a bad look. Thanks for pointing that out, Nick Dubb. No witch doctor company to invest in. Oh, this guy's hilarious. Tell me how you really feel, Eddie R. Yeah, that's a joke. You know that. What else we got? What else we got over here? All right. Ostentatious Productions chiming in as well. Who else we got? Fox back up to 11. Yes, you're absolutely right. Here is Fox again, right up into the higher high and higher lows. This thing is destined to break 11. Guys, when it does break 11, though, there's a chance it zigs and zags before it continues on its merry way to the high side. So be ready for that because they're going to want to take your stop. They're going to want to take your money. They're going to want to stop you out because they know you're probably going to place a stop below, you know what, 1050, 1075, whatever it is. They're going to force it down before they move it back up. So be ready for that. That happens a lot. They call it a specialist breakout or a specialist breakdown. So that is the look right now, sir. ZAP is continuing to trade well, but LTBR is not. So LTBR looks like it rejected that 875. We've been rejecting that 875 essentially for a while now. And yeah, there isn't that much time left on the show. 3 minutes before the big kahunas come back in. Neil and Sean, the big boys. And I don't think I'm going to be holding LTBR while I'm on the green screen. So probably flatten this out. Where are we long? We're long 52, so it's decent. Not a bad look there. The Katina Man is long the T triple Qs right now. So keep your eye out on that. He's going to have more to say about it, obviously, when he comes on in a few minutes. But he's not. You're not going to say anything, Katina Man? He's going to be muted on LTBR. So get it while you can, baby. So shout out. Oh, Apple just took out the high. Oh, not the high of the day.
Wow.
It just took out VWAP. It took out yesterday's closing print. The high of the day, though, on the dead one is 240.79. We just got above 239.59. We're going to be covering Apple today. The Katina Man, Adara, and I on the market recap show. Apple will be reporting likely, hopefully, at 4:30 today. We're going to have that live for you. Intel reports as well. Mobileye, just because there's a connection, reported this morning. Bit of a tougher look for them. But INTC reports after the bell. Any other good ones today, Adara, other than Apple and Intel? Visa and U.S. Steel. So we got X on there. I'm going to be probably listening to the call to see any interesting acquisitions that those bad boys might have, because they've been the focus of a takeover target for a hot minute now.
Visa? Yeah, Visa.
No, X.
X.
Remember, the orange man got involved, Biden got involved. They don't want U.S. Steel to fall into foreign ownership hands.
That would make sense. But it's been struggling for a little bit of some time now. So here we go, guys. I like how you're just talking about Apple here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
That volume really kicked in. This is a missed trade here, in my opinion. I mentioned watch for that volume to break on those key levels. We had these higher lows here, guys, and then that flat top, that key resistance level. And sure enough, you get that push through with that volume starting to kick in. That can be classified as a genuine move. And I'm unfortunate because as we were talking about it, I mentioned it, we marked out those levels, and then I seen that volume start to kick in. And relative to what has been printing for the past 2 hours or so, that's a large increase in volume. So that's a really good move. Hopefully someone in the chat, has anybody taken advantage of it? If you have, let us know. But Sharif.
Yes, sir.
It's that time.
It is. And Ram let me know that we got a plethora of money today in Super Chats.
Yeah.
She just tallied it up.
Yeah,
how many different Super Chats were there, Ram? Did you do the math on that? Sorry, Ram, to put her on the spot. But I want to thank you guys, man, for real. I know I'm speaking for Joseph, for Dara, for the big boys, and everybody want to say we really thank you guys for the Super Chats. We always do our best to see the comments in the chat. If you tag us, we'll also see that. But yeah, thank you guys very, very much. And Joseph and I, we'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, to close out on a Friday. The big kahunas are that way.
7:15 hockey. Let's go.
Boom.
7:15 hockey, let's go. That's what I like to see. I don't know where it came from. You're playing chess?
No,
your
my
kids
son
got
does.
you.
Yeah,
of
my
course.
daughter has hockey, but
Obviously, yeah. No, I knew that. 7:15.